Hey, everybody. We are live, and tonight we got, as usual, Flip and myself and a close friend of ours, Chris Equinoa. I'm just kidding. Equinoa is his last name. He is a friend of ours from some of the Facebook groups, and he has been eager to come on for one of these shows for quite some time. And we figured that an epic battle of our top 10 TV shows of all time was the absolute perfect time to pop his random streaming cherry, and it's going to be a messy night.
Oh, yeah.
Sardis is here. Glad you're here from the beginning this week. Hey, Sardis. I have to say in front of God and everybody that, Flip, you look fantastic tonight.
Thank you. I know. I'm trying not to be cocky, but I'm really feeling myself now. I was staring at myself in the mirror, and my wife was like, "Get over." And I was like, "I have looked like shit since pre-COVID. This is the first haircut I've gotten that wasn't just buzzing my head since pre-COVID." So,
Eric agrees. What's going on, Eric?
Thank you. I'm not cocky, by the way. I still think I'm a fat piece of shit.
Well, it's true, but at least you look good.
Yeah.
And look at that. Everybody's agreed. Even Cohen thinks you're hot. All right. So, Chris, this is your first time here. I assume you've watched a few times. Do you have any pickups that you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. I finally crawled out of the caveman dwelling of HD and Blu-ray and jumped into 4K. So I just kind of been picking up 4K titles. So I got a couple here. I don't know, you want me to do one at a time, or you
by all means go blaze through them however you want.
Do it, man.
We've got a little stack here. So the first one is The Outpost in 4K.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I dug it, man. It's super good. It's Scott Eastwood, Orlando Bloom. It's a pretty good war flick. It was on a lot of, I think it was 2020. I think it's 2020. Super solid war movie. If you're into war flicks, it's really good. Got that, and then 13 Hours. I got the 4K of 13 Hours.
That's a good one.
Something to test out the sound system.
Flip, did you see what Nerd is saying about you? He says your haircut looks airbrushed.
I wish, man. I'm losing my hair. So.
Then I got The Thing in 4K.
Beautiful. That is such a great 4K.
Had to.
Have you popped that one in yet?
What was it?
Have you popped that one in yet?
No, not yet.
Dude, that 4K transforms that film. There's so much detail that you can never see in that film until you watch it in 4K. I think it looked better in 4K than it does on the big screen.
Well, fucking better. I already bought this thing like 3 other times before, so it's shit. But no, I'm really stoked to check that one out. And then one you and me were talking about the other day was that new Slumber Party Massacre.
Nice.
I actually watched this the night before last. Not horrible. It's not that bad.
Good.
For a sci-fi remake of an 80s, slasher flick, it's not too bad.
Which sounds like a recipe for disaster, so I'm glad it's decent.
Yeah, they do some interesting things, man. So, then just a couple more. Got The Farmer. Got that one in from Diabolic.
Nice.
Which I'm looking to check that out.
Flip looks very confused about that one.
Yeah, what? No idea.
That is the one that my dear friend in the deep abscess of hell known as Dark Force has been bragging for years that he's wanted to put that out. And then out of nowhere, Walt Olson comes and releases it. So
it looks interesting, man. I really want to check it out. And then just a little new one. Got the new Resident Evil on 4K. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's. I haven't heard great things about it. I haven't heard great things, man. But I like the other one, so I want to check it out and see.
Yeah, but the other one's got Mila Jovovich
for a test drive.
What was that?
The other ones have Mila Jovovich in it. So there's at least a reason to watch it.
Yeah, I dug the Mila Jovovich ones. And then for love it or hate it, I got the new Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I want to check that one out.
Because there's no women in it. So it's great.
Yeah. And then one that may tie into our list, I got Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yes.
This is Yeah, it's a must.
Nerd says Chris is a brave soul for coming on with us.
Got to brave the fire every once in a while, man. And that's it. That was a short little list.
That's a pretty decent haul. Flip, you want to share your 14-pound behemoth?
Yeah. So, real quick, I want to say something about the haircut because I walked in and I said, "Make me look like I sell Nokias out of a kiosk in the mall," and the barber was he was like, "Oh, you want to look like you're a Middle Eastern?" Exactly. I got this little set called Gunsmoke.
There we go.
This is stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever bought in my life. Look at
That
this
is literally a shelf.
Jesus.
It doesn't say how many discs. I know it's like at least 100+ discs.
Yeah, the numbers don't go up that high.
Yeah, it says in the corner there, fuck ton. It's a lot of.
Yeah, it says it's 635 episodes. So,
oh, Jesus.
yeah. Ryan's favorite TV show, which we'll probably talk about more once. Actually, Ryan hates this show. I always was on the.
Could you imagine if those were Blu-rays? How expensive that set would be?
Oh my God.
I was. I've always been on the fence about that set. I love westerns, but at that point, I hadn't seen a lot of Gunsmoke. But
Right.
Pluto TV's, I think it's Pluto. They have a 24/7 Gunsmoke channel, and it's like, oh, it's comfort food. And then I started listening to like the radio plays, like the radio dramatizations of the episodes. And there's a podcast that has documented all of. I'm going through them, and they're a lot of fun. They're not for everybody. It's very old timey, but it's a lot of fun. I definitely yeehawed a little too hard this last haul. So Old Henry got it with the slip.
Yes.
Great movie. Fu watched it for the first time last week, and he said the twist blew him away. So
Nice.
very happy to have that. Also picked up The Westerner, another TV series. This was created by Sam Peckinpah. I'm a huge Sam Peckinpah fan. I didn't know that, so I'm gonna watch this soon. I'll probably watch this well before I watch Gunsmoke.
I love that Nerd speaks on his behalf and says Fu loved it.
Oh, he did, yeah. And then I got The Proposition, which I got this after I found out that BFI is putting out a release. So
that release looks incredible too.
Yeah.
This is probably the closest we'll get to a Blood Meridian live action movie. It's like very similar in tone, very dark. Then 2 bootlegs. I think I talked about this briefly. It's Kill Bill, Whole Bloody Affair.
Yeah.
I got worried when he told Flip to show us the 15-bomb behemoth. Trust me, I have nothing close to that. So it'd be like 1 ounce.
Remember, Flip is 5'3".
I'm 5'7". Okay. I got Kill Bill, the Whole Bloody Affair. Got Bandit versus Samurai Squadron. Great movie. The dumbest
is that a
name
boot as well, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a boot. It's a great movie though. And then I got Ronin Guy, which is a DVD from Home Vision Entertainment. This was sold to me as a reverse Seven Samurai. So 7 pieces of shit that go into horrible acts, which sounds awesome.
Why wouldn't they just call it -7 Samurai?
It is true. And then I imported this. This is Sekigahara. This has English subtitles. It's a epic based on the live on the real battle. Thank you, man. Me too. Yeah, this from what I've heard is very dry because it's pretty historically accurate. So I'm definitely into that. I want to see something historically accurate, and that is all I think. I think that's all. Yeah, that's it.
I got a few that are relevant to the channel. Random. I think this was a Target buy 2 get 1. I have had this on my wish list for a while because somebody recommended it, and I bought a vampire motorcycle. Just that title alone makes me want to watch it. One of the brand new indicators, now that they're coming to the U.S., had to support them a little bit in that buy 2 get 1. I got Blockhouse with Peter Sellers. The next one on my list from them is The Brute. Supposedly that one is great. I don't have that one yet because it wasn't a part of the buy 2 get 1. It wasn't even on their site. And
wait, are those out yet? Those indicator?
Yeah.
The Mad Dog Morgan and everything?
No, that's
No, that was-
coming March or April.
Oh, okay.
But they started in the U.S. in January, so we have
I did not
monthly
know.
release.
I did not know that. I thought the Mad Dog Morgan and then the was it the Bud Bedecker Western that they were putting out?
Yep,
Is that
that's
right?
the same month.
Okay, I thought that was now. I thought that was the first batch.
No, you got 2 full batches before that, actually.
Damn.
2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got some pre-orders in that I know that Flip knows and loves. I got in Legendary Weapons.
Oh, there we go.
And then, of course, with that, had to get Flag of Iron. And then one that will make everybody happy. I got in finally my 4K of Hard Target.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
John Woo.
John Woo
All
and
right.
Van Damme. You can't go wrong, man.
I mean, you can, because never.
I mean, you can't because both those guys suck.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
You
Van
can't
Damme
actually.
is, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say me and Fu talked about John Woo through text last week. We both agree. We think Hard Boil is like overrated and does not hold up well in a 2022. Like it's rough. The story sucks. The characterization's awful, and some of the action scenes are just like explosion cut to Chow Yun Fat holding a gun, just spraying. Cut back to another explosion. Doesn't hold up very well.
I got to be honest. I don't know if you're trolling right now because you do it a lot. However,
No,
I will say a lot of stuff that we tend to glorify from the 90s, I don't think holds up super well, but I think that at the time they were revolutionary, and that means they are very important.
yes, and that's pretty much what our conversation boiled down to. Is that yes, it pushed boundaries.
Boiled
but
down to
No, look at you.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Of course you didn't.
Fuck. Damn.
What about The Killer? When's the last time you seen The Killer?
Like yeah, we talked about it. I think The Killer is a far better movie than Hard Boiled. I think A Bullet to the Head is a far better movie. I think his best movie is Red Cliff. I don't know if you guys
I
have
thought you were going to say
seen.
Face Off.
No. No. Did you know the original casting was supposed to be like Harrison Ford and somebody? Like, there's a bunch of people that were supposed to be in that role. I'm so glad it like is who it is.
I am too. I genuinely love that movie. I think Face Off is
I think
great.
it's funny. It's a great movie. That needs a 4K booty release.
I completely agree. I would be all about that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Watch
you go.
Hard Boiled and Sallow back to back.
That makes for a shitty day.
Or a horny day, depending on your
The
preference.
same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Sallow really made me go, you know.
How about some recent watches, Flip? You want to talk about your week?
I finished The Shield. I finished it. Holy fuck. Ryan wasn't kidding when he said it's one of the best endings to a television show ever. That last episode, seasons 1 through 3 are very like, I wouldn't say like standard because they're still gritty. But it's still like, you're like, okay, I'm just kind of going through the motions. Season 4 with Antoine.
Yep.
Killed it. Season 5 is my favorite just because I'm a huge Forrest Whitaker fan.
Yep.
That was great. And then the last 2 just completely, and everything ties around to each other. I don't know. Spoilers for a show that's been off air.
Have you
for
seen The Shield,
decades.
Chris?
Yeah, I actually I binged it years ago. Dirty cop genre is like one of my favorite genres, so it was a must watch. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Flip.
Oh, but it's just, man, it's just so good. Vic is probably one of the most complex characters in any TV show. You know, season 1, I mean, episode 1, he kills a cop for ratting, and then by the end of the season, or by the end of the series, he's ratting on Ronnie. And honestly, I feel like Ronnie was a sociopath. Like, he didn't have any emotions, like almost at all. And he was such a fucking good cop. And he's obviously willing to kill for Vic, trust Vic. I feel like if he would have picked Ronnie over Shane, I feel like that whole situation would have gotten a little bit better. Like, I feel like if he would have trusted trusted Ronnie more than he did Shane, they would have ended the way they did. But
Which
man,
he clearly could have too.
Yeah.
yeah.
We find out at the end that Ronnie would have been a ride or die.
Yeah, Ronnie knew. I mean, Ronnie didn't directly know about him killing Terry, But when he does find out, he's kind of like, whatever. Like,
Let's save a little bit because I guarantee we're going to be talking about the Shield tonight.
Lim, man. That episode with Lim, heartbreaking. And
Save
then
a little bit.
and then, but I do just want to say one last thing. Walter Goggins' performance is so visceral and so good at the end. Thank you, Jeremy. Walton Goggins. That I tried to watch Justified like directly after, and I couldn't get into it because I was still pissed off at it. I was like, no, fuck this guy. I don't want to. I do not like him. Great show.
Oh yeah.
And then of course he follows all that up, and he does Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight, and now he is one of Quentin's boys.
Yep.
So good. Oh,
He's
what else did I
a
watch?
great actor.
I watched one other thing.
You watched Yojimbo.
I watched Yojimbo, yeah. So Food for Thought and I are starting a podcast in March. It's gonna be a samurai-based movie podcast bi-weekly. And that's what I hear, but I just can't get past Goggins being such a POS.
After you get past all that, you got to see him in Vice Principals, dude. He is hilarious in that show.
But yeah, so I started watching Yojimbo again, and I thought there was only the 4 movies. There's Yojimbo Sanjuro, Yojimbo meets Zatoichi, and then Incident and Blood Pass is the unofficial sequel to Sanjuro. But
and then the fifth one, right? Abbott and Costello meet Yojimbo.
No. And then, but towards the towards the later years of Mifune's life, he just like called in a bunch of Yojimbo. He just phoned it in basically. He was in television shows, a bunch of made-for-TV movies. So I'm picking a couple of those up and going to do more research and flesh out the episode that we're eventually going to do on Yojimbo.
That's awesome.
Great movie. Still holds up. They should turn that into a Western. Maybe an Italian guy could do it. Yeah. Maybe star Clint Eastwood.
He's a little too young for that.
I don't know, man. Cry Macho. Great.
Oh, yeah. Is it really?
No. Come on. He's 91, buddy.
I was like,
Chris,
man, I have not heard anything great about that.
What's your favorite Clint? Are you a friend? Are you a fan of Clint Eastwood?
Absolutely, yes.
Ryan hates him.
Oh, I know. Ryan hates him. He puts him in the same boat as him and Chuck Norris.
Whoa, what?
Chuck Norris is a little less racist.
Chuck let an Asian man pull his chest hair out.
That's very true. Willingly.
Yeah, and Clint saved a bunch of Asians from getting shot.
Very true. He actually sacrificed himself to save a particular Asian. So,
dude, that was the first time I heard the term "gook" in anything because I was young when that came out, and I was just blown away by how fucking funny that word is. It's racist, but I was like, man, that's a funny say.
God damn. I didn't realize Lena Romay already has been dead a decade today. That's crazy.
Who's that?
Oh, Flip. You got to get out of your genres.
Who's that?
She is a very famous actress.
What was she in?
She has been in all kinds of Italian films, just not your style Italian films.
Italians suck.
You love all the pasta westerns, though.
That's true. Even the bad ones like God's Gun, I'll watch it.
God's Gun and Don Gotti Manicotti. Chris, did you watch anything this week?
Actually, no, man. I've been just that Slumber Party Massacre, and that's basically it. I've been on a decline this week. I haven't watched really anything.
I mean, that's still something.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah. But we've getting the new TV and shit in. It's been a slow week for movies for me, so I'm boring with that.
I gotta say, Gook, Spick, and Wop are the top 3. Bottom 3 is all inward.
Okay,
that's just such a dirty word. That's such a dirty word. Never say the N-word ever. That's a terrible word.
I watched a Vinegar Syndrome partner label film last night from Culture Shock Releasing called Girlfriend from Hell. And that movie is fun as shit. I mean, it just got announced, so that could be why.
Have you been talking about this?
Not very much, no.
I feel like someone just talked about this.
Yeah, it's surprisingly like really fun. It comes across as super cheesy. The opening feels like an episode of Power Rangers, and then it turns into just this random 80s madcap night, and it is great. It is over the top campy. It is it kind of feels like horror wannabe weird science kind of in
Oh,
some of the
nice.
scenes, but it's not. It's like when I say horror, it's not really horror. Like the I don't. It's hard to explain, but it is very well made. It is really well acted. We got somebody from Twin Peaks is in it, and it is acted pretty decent. It's over the top 80s acting, but it's still pretty
You had me at Power Rangers.
genuinely. The opening scene feels like an episode of Power Rangers. Like they're walking out. Like they're walking out on the big rocks in the middle of nowhere, and it's this cheesy like electric out of nowhere zapping, and then somebody disappears from the screen. Yeah, it's perfect. It is so much damn fun.
Psycho Gorman had some insane like Power Rangers type shit going on there. That was wild.
That was just too well made to feel like Power Rangers.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Psycho Gorman is great.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Dave says, watched Quantum of Solace today. Still don't know why this film gets the amount of hate it does. Probably because James Bond kind of sucks.
Well, I think it's probably because Casino Royale is such a good movie, and the media follow-up with that.
I think that's the only reason.
I just went through and took on this insane task at the end of 2021 of watching every James Bond movie from Dr. No all the way to No Time to Die. My wife thought I was fucking insane because I just went and blitzed through like 26 movies. It's insane. It's insane where these start and where it ends.
Well, the main reason why she thinks you're insane is because James Bond just hates women overall.
Dude. So like starting from the beginning, like
that means Flip's a big fan, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, he hates women very easily. Big woman hater. Sean Connery hates women. But like in the first movie, like they team with this black guy in Jamaica, and him and Ursula Andress, they take off, and he looks back at the black guy and says, "Get my shoes, boy." And then I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
See, I'm all for sexism, but you lose me at racism.
And that's James Bond in a nutshell.
Yeah, some of the things, dude. I was watching Have Belmo Travel, and he just refers to the Asian guy as "Hey boy" all the time. Hey boy, come here, hey boy. It's like, damn, I'm gonna start saying that to my friend Jen, who's Filipino. I'm gonna go, hey boy. He's bigger than me. He's like 6'8". He'll fucking beat my ass.
I mean, that's not hard to be bigger than you. So in the last week, other stuff I watched. Surprisingly, I'm kind of sort of caught up on Peacemaker. I haven't watched all of them, but I've watched like 3 or 4, which is a big deal for me.
You like it?
And then, yeah, it really, really good. I mean, not a whole lot to say. It's James Gunn, and I got to be honest, it's getting. I don't want to say it's getting old, but it's a lot of the same from James Gunn. Suicide Squad was good. Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy was good, but it's all just the same tone and feeling over and over.
Yeah, it's starting to drag on me too.
I gotta admit though, John Cena can fucking act, and
yes,
the Eagle is really well done, and I love I can't remember her name now. Tasty from Orange Is the New Black. She's really good.
Is it the black girl?
Yeah, and Peacemaker.
She's hilarious. She's hilarious. When she sees that eagle hug him, she like, yeah. It's so awesome. Such a fun show.
Oh, and then because we've talked about it so much, I don't have enough time to watch new things, so I went back and started The Shield again, and I've watched the first couple episodes. And
he texted me and was like, "I think I'm watching it again." And then a couple hours later, I started it. I can't stop.
It is so damn good. But again, we'll talk about The Shield more tonight. So, you think we should dive in?
Yeah.
You want to talk about some honorable mentions first, or do we want to do that after we do our 10?
Let's do it after.
All right. Yeah. Let's start with number 10 then. Chris, you want to share your number 10?
Yeah, let me see here. So number 10 on my list will probably be a lot higher on your guys' list, maybe. But number
That's
10 for
fine.
me is Breaking Bad. Number 10. It's a show that I had started before I met my wife, and then years later ended up finishing long after it was done. We finished it together. But it was just solid, man. Really fucking solid. It just the acting, it turned Aaron Paul into this fucking like crazy. Like, he's done some shit. Like you have Need for Speed, but you can always look back to Breaking Bad.
He's done some shit. Keyword
He was
shit.
he was supposed to be gone after that first season. That's the crazy part of that.
That's insane. Well, then like Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston too, right? All you heard from Bryan Cranston in the beginning of Breaking Bad was it was the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, and then now look at him. It's fucking nuts. And then just the story, man. Just the story is so good, and just the crime element, and then the shit that happens later with certain characters. It's nice, dude. It's a really fucking solid show.
It's a good show. That show started while I was in high school, and it ended after I was out
You
of high
are so young, Jesus Christ.
school. I'm 30, dude. What are you talking about?
You are,
but yeah,
you are 30 as of 2 weeks ago.
Yes. But my testicle exploded, so I'm like 38,
Jesus.
really, truly. Yeah. So
That's a good call.
yeah. But yeah, that
I
show
love how
started
that
while I was in
only
high school.
adds 8 years, supposedly.
Yeah. Exploding testicle adds years onto your life.
It does, but yeah, I was young when it started. I started watching it, and it became like a thing. Me and my friends would watch Breaking Bad, and we'd get back to school and be like, "Oh shit!" And then when it finished, I was blown away. And I told my parents, "I was like, you got to watch Breaking Bad." My parents never take my advice until decades later. They just finished it last year when we shut down for COVID. They were like, "Hey, we started Breaking Bad," and then literally 4 days later, they're like, "We finished Breaking Bad." Holy shit, that show's great. And I was like, "Yeah, I told you, you fucking idiots. I've been telling you for years to watch it." But now they won't watch Better Call Saul. I'm like, watch Better Call Saul. No.
See,
You
I
haven't
haven't
watched it a
Better Call
decade anyway.
Saul.
I think it's a better show than Breaking Bad.
I was
Really?
about to say, I didn't want to say anything yet, but everybody I know that is up to date on Better Call Saul says it is the superior show.
Holy shit.
So good. It's just shocking to me because Breaking Bad's great. Like one of the best shows of all time. Top 100. That you make a spin-off that on the offset it looks kind of goofy and dumb, and it ends up being at least on par with the original material. It's
Bob Odenkirk is amazing as Saul. Like he's so good.
He's great in everything he does.
Dude, I was blown away with Nobody. Nobody was
Me too.
Dude, it was so good.
And then he's in that. What's that comedy thing he was in? He was in a Netflix
Mr. Show.
Mr. Show, yeah.
No, that's like skit where it's a skit-based comedy series on Netflix. And they're at brunch together, and he's like, "Yeah, I have a car." Do you like know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's that's so.
You want to share your number 10? Or
Me?
you want me to go first? Yeah.
My number 10 is Too Old to Die Young. Was it William Refn? Not William.
Oh
Refn.
yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn.
Nicholas Winding Refn. Yeah.
The Amazon series, right?
Yeah, the Amazon series, 10 episodes. They're like 90 minutes each. They're long. Some of them are longer. Yeah, they premiered at Cannes. They put like the first 2 episodes into like one movie. But it's a show that if you go into it, it's going to test your patience because it's like the characters move real slow, like real deliberately. It goes to some pretty dark places. It's graphic, sexually and violently. And it's got who's the main actor in that show, Chris? Do you know?
Miles
that guy
Teller.
from he is a turd of a person, and some of his acting is a little off, but he is just such a piece of shit in this movie. He's having sex with like a 15-year-old. He plays a pedophile. Yeah, he's not a good dude. You want him to get it. He like everything about it is grimy. Some of the Mexican stuff with the drug cartels is a little like really weird. You have a cartel boss who wants to fuck his dead mom, so his wife dresses up like his. It's just weird. It goes
Just a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, just a regular Tuesday, yeah. But overall, I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I binged it in like a week, and that's a lot for how long those episodes are, because they drag. And we are going to get season 2. It kind of ends it open-ended, but Amazon canceled it. They're like, "Fuck this! What is this weird shit?"
That's one I've had on my list for a while. I haven't gotten around to it though.
Yeah, he said, "I don't think Ryan would like." I think Ryan would hate it.
Well, Refn's movies are so fucking wild. Like Drive, I think I haven't seen every one of his, but I know like Drive feels more mainstream than like Only God Forgives.
I love Only God. Imagine 10 Only God Forgives episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Dude, there's a scene where he Miles Teller infiltrates like a porn company who's like actually raping the girls, and it's just they get into a shootout. It's really good. It's really, really good.
I'm still gonna watch it. Like I said, it's on my list. I gotta eventually get around to it.
I think he's one of the best directors working, just because nothing feels like his movies.
Oh, his movies look amazing. His movies look awesome.
And the show looks great too. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 10. Too Old to Die Young.
Nice.
Very interesting. I think I'm gonna have to watch at least one of those. I like the director. All right. I didn't think I was going to be the one to bring controversy tonight, and then I saw my list, and I'm going to start with the controversial pick, I think. My number 10 is from somebody that is trying to come back into the scene after being Me Too'd. My number 10 is Louie. I think Louie is one of the best written comedy shows of all time.
Yeah.
I think Louis C.K., although a piece of shit, and I'm not taking that away from him, I think he is a massively talented person. I think that they took the Seinfeld type of show and made it good. Not that Seinfeld is bad, but I think that Louis is I think Louis is exponentially better than any of the shows that are like that. Bringing the realism to the way that he at least portrayed himself to be, obviously, since we know different things about him now. That show is magnificent. The fact that they kept it going for so long too, and kept the serialized story going, it just works, and it is so damn funny in the most subtle of ways. I Louis C.K.
I love Louis C.K. as well. He could jerk off in front of me if he really wanted to. Actually, did you hear his comedy special right when he started to try to come back?
I have not. I've got an email because I've been on his email list for forever. I've got an email saved where he's sending out something where you can get like his last 4 specials since he came back for like $20. I'm like, that's a pretty good deal.
They're pretty funny. There's joke in there. He's like, "Have you guys ever had a bad day?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Have you ever lost $8 million in one day?" Because that's the day I had. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
All right, Chris, move us along. Number 9.
Let me see. Number 9 is I'm gonna do the Twilight Zone. Number 9 for me, the original, not the 2000s Forrest Whitaker reboot or I think there was one in the 80s.
Wait, Forrest Whitaker had a Twilight Zone
Forrest
reboot?
Whitaker had one in the early 2000s. He was the host, and then now it's Jordan Peele, and then there was one in the 80s too.
Kind of want to see Forrest's. I love Forrest.
It's interesting. I think who was it? Like Usher was in an episode, and Nick Lachey. It was interesting.
98 degrees, Nick Lachey.
98 fucking degrees, Nick Lachey. Yes.
Okay.
But
I'm not too young that I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm old enough to know who that is.
The original Twilight Zone. I think it's probably one of the you have like the Outer Limits and Night Gallery. I think Twilight Zone, it's definitely more popular, but I loved it, man. I used to watch it when I was a kid, all the old episodes, and you look back now, like Dennis Hopper was in a couple episodes, and like what's the one 20,000 Feet of Fear, or 20,000 the one in the plane. That one was so fucking good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then they did it in the Twilight Zone movie too with John Lithgow. They did that segment in the movie.
Yep.
It's just a good show, man. As far as I'm gonna have another one on the list too. Spoiler, but like a horror centric anthology series or story series. But yeah, man, Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone, it's great.
We need a re-release the Twilight Zone the movie on Blu-ray, man. That thing has been out of print for ages, and
Oh
it was
yeah,
never a great print, but it goes for like $90 now.
yes, it's crazy how much that goes for.
And then you can buy the whole series on Blu-ray for like $45.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to burn through that entire, like, it might be like a if they wanted to do it, it'd be like a Gunsmoke ish. No, I don't think it'd be that big. Not like the
at all.
Gunsmoke. It won't be that fucking big, but it's bulky.
Gunsmoke's not even the biggest DVD box set. It's like the original. There's a Star Trek one that's like all of them up to a certain point in one set. Like every show, like TGS or was it Next Generation? Yeah, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, all that shit combined into one box set for one big release. It's like 300, 400 DVDs.
Jesus.
Insane.
That's more time all put together than my kid has been alive.
My number 9 is 000. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's an Amazon exclusive series that came out 2020, I believe, like right in the middle of the pandemic. It's done by the same team who did Gamora, based on a book by the same author who wrote Gamora. And it's about a company in the U.S. in Louisiana, and they own a ship freight company, and they are buying heroin from the cartel and giving it to the mafia in Italy. And the shipment goes wrong, so you have 3 storylines happening. You have the Italian mafia storyline, you have that shipment of the drugs going to Italy, and then you have the Mexican cartel storyline. And the show follows this shipment of drugs into Africa, into the Middle East, and as they're trying to get it to Italy safely. And it's mind-blowing how great it is. Only 10 episodes. It's got the lead actress from God, what was that Cronenberg's Sons movie from last year?
Possessor.
It's got the same actress as that. She's the lead in this, and she's incredible. Just kills it in this show.
Nice.
It's violent. It's dark. It's gritty. You're gonna hear that a lot with a lot of my favorite shows. I don't watch a lot of comedies because I'm just too funny as a person. You know, I have too much humor to give the world.
No more room.
Yeah, no more room. But yeah, it's something that I was hesitant to watch, not because of like any prejudices. I love the team behind Gamora, but I was just hesitant to watch it, and I watched it, and it's a complete story. There's no cliffhangers. Everything's wrapped up. You have some great characters in there. Like when the drugs get to Africa, that's my favorite section of the show. It's fucking great, fantastic. Highly, highly recommend 000.
Interesting.
I know fuck all about that show.
Yeah,
I don't think
me
I've ever
neither,
heard
man.
of it before you just said it.
It's one of the best. Seriously, one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Wow.
Just gripping, and like this, and like juggling 3 storylines would sound like they don't get enough room to breathe, but each of them are extremely fleshed out. The Mexican cartel one is about this. It's loosely based on a real like rogue group in the cartels who rose up and overthrew one of the cartels that ended up becoming very powerful. It's based on a real life thing, and that's fully fleshed out. The mafia and like in their various struggles for power internally with each other, that's fully fleshed out. And then the family who owns this just like freight company, that's fully fleshed out too. It's mind-blowingly well done. But no season 2, so
Interesting.
Ends on a cliffhanger.
no, it everything's wrapped up. They could have
Nice.
done a season 2, but it's so well wrapped up that it's just.
All right. My number 9 is one that I know Flip has seen partially, and that is Taskmaster. Genuinely, I think one of the most entertaining shows ever made. We are, I think, 13 seasons deep of the UK Taskmaster, and they've expanded to like 4 other countries at least. and a couple of them, like Taskmaster Australia or New Zealand or Australia, one of the two, is genuinely as funny as some of the best Taskmaster UK seasons. In a nutshell, what Taskmaster is they take a full, usually 10 episode season with 5 comedians, and ahead of time, like we're talking like 6 months ahead of time, they bring them to this house and they give them these series of tasks, something like measure the length of this wall in beans, or see how far you can get. Take two articles of your clothing and separate them as far as you can in 30 minutes. And then the person that is judging is called the Taskmaster, and he gets to award points based on what he thinks they did. And just seeing these random ass comedians come up either with really like ingenious ways to solve these tasks, or really asinine, you're a complete idiot, why did you think of this? It is so funny to see that spectrum of thought and watch them fail and flounder. And the best parts is some of these, there are random things in the room that are actually like the answers to some of these. So they'll say like, build a bridge over this little mock river using only the supplies on the table. But if any of them had bent over and looked under the table, there's a whole bunch of actual solid wood and metal supplies. And on top, it was only like straws and marshmallows and shit. So there's so many random things that if you just read the logic and you toy with it, you can solve it in a perfect way. And Taskmaster is great. It is mindlessly funny. It is dry British humor in the best of way. And the coolest part is they're kind of like character development. You get to see these same 5 comedians for 10 episodes, and they grow towards each other throughout the entire thing. And it's amazing.
It's great. It's just not a waste of time. I thought that too until I watched it and gave it a shot. Fucking great.
What's it on?
It is on BBC. It is not in the US at all. There was a US Taskmaster that was hosted by Reggie Watts, and they did one season, and it failed miserably because they ruined the template. They only made it half an hour long instead of an hour, and they had some really poor people on it. They had Freddie Highmore from The Good Doctor on it. They had Lisa Lampanelli on it. They had the only good one that they had on, they had Ron Funches in it, and he was hilarious. But they had the freaking house DJ dude, what is his name? Dylan Francis. He was one of the contestants on it for a full season.
Oh, wow.
It was so awkward.
I saw him live, and it was awful. I was so bored.
Jesus.
Genuinely, it is great, though. The UK one, and then I think it's New Zealand. It might be Australia, but I think it's New Zealand. That version is really well done, too.
Oh, interesting. Okay. If I get a chance to check it out, if I see it.
The first 9 seasons are available for free on the Taskmaster YouTube.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yeah.
So for my number 9, man, you guys are kind of going outside the Taskmaster.
Number 8.
What did it say? 8. Oh, number 8. I'm sorry, number 8. I'm going to do, again, mainstream, True Detective. I'm going to go True Detective for number 8. Reason why it's number 8, not higher, because the first season was so good. Second season, I actually thought the second season was still pretty good. It was messy. It was a little jumbled. But I think that Colin Farrell was like so good in the second season. I think that there's a scene, or there's a scene in there. I don't know, Flip, did you guys watch the second season at all?
Oh yeah.
I haven't.
You haven't? Oh my God. So Flip, then there's that scene where Colin Farrell goes to pick up his kid from school, and his kid's like this little chubby, kid gets picked on, and I guess he gets his Jordans cut up with scissors or some shit. So Colin Farrell, in a rage, goes to this kid's house, this bully, and he tells the dad to bring the son out. So the dad brings the son out, and then he gets these brass knuckles, and he proceeds to beat the shit out of the dad in front of his son. It is fantastic.
Fucking awesome.
Yes.
Such a big dick energy.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you in front of your son. That's awesome, dude.
And then he finds out the kid's name is Aspen. And then he like just kicks the shit out of the dad even more for naming his kid Aspen. But no, like the second season, I always love seeing Vince Vaughn do something different than comedy. I like anybody.
Yep.
If you got like a comedian anytime they switch from comedy and they do something serious, I love watching that. Vince Vaughn was good. And the first season is just that. I mean, there's nothing to say more. Woody and McConaughey were, I think the first season is great. The third season I haven't finished yet.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
The third season?
I really did. Yeah. Though,
yes.
have you got to the point where they're blending in current time with the past?
No. I see.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything else.
Okay.
Great.
See, I'm a big fan of Steven Dorff. I like Steven. I think he is like an underrated. You stick Steven Dorff in something, and it probably will make the movie a bit better.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's a great actor.
Yeah. So yeah, True Detective definitely first season. Second season was a step down in quality, but like I said, when I see the third season, I might pick up.
Created by a Italian gentleman.
Oh yeah,
yep.
That's right.
My number 7 is a 7 now.
8
or 8. 8. Number 8 would be Godless on Netflix. Western. Yeah. I think it's only 8 episodes.
Am I going to have seen any of your shows tonight?
Probably not. No, Godless was great. Godless's opening, I think, is probably just as gripping as The Shield.
Sardis says, when my brother was 14, he beat up a kid at a skating rink, and the kid's father came, and my brother beat him up and told him, go get the grandfather.
Jesus, just going through the fucking lineage.
And then after you beat up the grandfather, you could dig up the great-grandfather.
Yeah,
that's shit. Beat him too. Jesus, Sardis, your brother's a fucking savage.
Anyways,
but Godless opens up. It's like a little train station town. There's dead bodies everywhere. There's this very haunting like hymn playing in the background. The train's exploded on the ground, and there is like a child hanging from a tree. And it's just like a brutal opening. And then it turns into a guy who stumbles upon this girl's farm, where she lives with her son and her mother-in-law. Her husband was a Native American who was dead. It's about this town where all the men went down in the coal mine to work, and they all died. There was an explosion. All the men died. There's a few guys left, but it's mostly run by women. And they're trying to build a church. They're trying to get their lives together. This guy rolls into the town. You don't know much about him. He's hiding from something. And it's got, what's his name from Dumb and Dumber?
Jeff Daniels?
Jeff Daniels is the villain in this show.
Oh, nice.
And he is fucking phenomenal. And it ends in a quick draw where they're doing like a nice showdown, beautifully done. It's just so good, so good. That's all I gotta say about number 8. He is, dude. When I say he is evil in this show, he is extremely evil. They go into a house. This is not spoiler, but they go into a house that everyone's got smallpox, and he just mercy kills all of them.
I remember Daniels played a villain in what was it, Looper? I think he played a bad guy in Looper, wasn't it?
That's a bad.
It wasn't. He didn't murder like a whole village of people, but he was a villain. I believe it was in Looper. Small role, but
yeah, he's great in this. He is like fixating in this. Like
I've heard of Godless. Yeah, I've heard of Godless. It was on another one of those ones that's on my list that I haven't gotten to.
Is that only one season as well?
Yeah, one season on Netflix. The final showdown in the town is great. So many just good characters. And like there's like actual like humor in the show too. There's a woman from Germany, and she has like a love affair with a guy who's always naked. Like it's just like there's some good humor sprinkled in there. Great.
Interesting.
I recommend God.
I've heard of that one at least. My number 8 is also a Netflix show, and I'm going to go with Mindhunter. First off, I adore David Fincher, and second, Jonathan Groff is fucking incredible in that show. He obviously is the mainstay through the entire thing, but I think that Mindhunter takes everything I love about I hate saying true crime because it's like this memified genre nowadays, but like actual true crime, the historical side of it, and they take it to the point where it's real-ish for the most part, and then just slightly fantasized, and that's perfect for me. The only thing that I really didn't love about it is some of the dramatized side storylines, like the other detective's son potentially, being charged with killing somebody. It didn't seem to be in place, but yeah, I think it had really great storylines. It had some incredible character development, which that's David Fincher through and through. And then the other thing is obviously some of the best casting for the serial killers that we will ever see. They literally looked just like them. They acted just like them, sounded just like them. It was a work of art in casting. And it is not a common thing to see that. Usually, like we talked about Breaking Bad a little bit at the beginning. That show, I think they kind of blossomed into great casting. I think Bryan Cranston was on from the start, but I think it took a while for Aaron Paul to get into his. And then obviously Odenkirk wasn't even there for a couple seasons. So yes, I agree with Fu. I think that Ed Kemper is easily the best of those villains. He is fucking amazing. If you've ever seen anything from Kemper, he filled that role to capacity in the best of ways.
Who's your favorite serial?
Favorite serial killer?
Which one do you admire the most?
Probably the Zodiac, because he got away with it for so long.
Did we ever find out who that was?
I think we have like a solid theory at this point, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's confirmed. And I agree with John here. I think Bundy is the most interesting. I think Bundy is the most interesting one to study.
Yeah.
And then Stendhal says Mindhunter was a quality series, literally the best series Netflix put out. Never should have been canceled. And supposedly, Fincher has hinted that he might be able to get a third season eventually, which would be amazing. But I almost think Jonathan Groff might be getting a little too big for it now.
I feel like Fincher, if anybody, that dude should have some power.
Supposedly he has pull, but I guess it was really expensive to produce because they did a in like actual like the places that they needed to go. So there was a lot of traveling for the entire crew.
Yeah, my wife.
May kind of sucked.
My wife is a massive Jonathan Groff fan from I think it was from Glee. So when I heard that David Fincher was doing this series, then Jonathan Groff, it was something to tie us both in. We watched, I think it was half of the first season, or I can't remember if it was the full first season, but I got to get back into it. I keep meaning to, because I heard that the second season just gets really fucking good.
It really does.
Like you said, the casting of the serial killers is great. So for number 7, right? Seven. This is something I would have never, ever told anybody that was probably one of my favorite shows of all time. It's going to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Other than Joss Whedon. Nice.
Yeah, there you go. So, my wife was my wife has a lot of ties to some of my favorite stuff. But she was a massive fan of this growing up, and she was pimping this thing through our entire relationship. And then finally she got me to sit down and watch all the seasons. And man, the first season is rough. The first season is a little rough to get through. But when it goes on, it gets nuts, man. There's an episode in there. It's called The Body. So, well, so check. So there's an episode called The Body, right? Nothing to do with vampire slaying. Nothing to do with anything. It's one of spoilers. Shows in the fucking 90s, but the Buffy goes and her mom dies. She comes out and her mom's dead on the couch. And it's this like this long, crazy one take of her trying to like figure out what to do, call 911. It was a crazy episode to put in the middle of this show about a teenage vampire slayer. So it's wild because I lost my dad about 2 years ago. So looking at an episode like that, like it definitely, I was even telling my wife the other day, I go, thinking about that episode, like it hits harder now. But yeah, just to put that episode in the middle of a teenage vampire hunter show was nuts. But it's got its highs and lows, it's got its peaks and valleys, but the show is really, really solid.
I agree. I like Buffy a lot. I think that the cast is genuinely really good. I think the story's interesting. I think that they broke a lot of genre conventions that many shows could not even dare to come close to at that time.
Yeah. And like you said with Breaking Bad, I think the same thing. The characters or the actors kind of blossomed into these characters, and the more they went on, the fuller they became. So,
did you or your wife get into like the whole Buffy universe, like Angel and all that stuff?
Oh, dude, we have the Buffy DVDs. We have the Angel DVDs. She was reading. She knows the lore on the comic books, and it's
She's a nerd. That's awesome.
The only thing we don't have is the Buffy board game. Other than that,
there's a board game,
dude. Yeah, there's a board game. Believe me,
is it like canon?
I believe so. I think
that's
so.
Awesome. I love when weird shit like that.
No action figures in the house. There's no action figures of Buffy, but it's nuts. If she is a diehard like Buffy head, it's nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My wife's soundtrack
huge,
to the musical episode too.
Yes. She had all the songs of the musical episode just plugged into the iPod. A couple of them.
There's a musical too.
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon seems to do that. He does musical episodes because I think he did an episode on one of the superhero CW shows. He did a musical episode of that too.
Yep, there's the title. It's called Once More with Feeling.
Once More with Feeling. That's it.
Love Joss Whedon. What a great guy.
That's easy to say when you hate women. What were you going to say? I think I was interrupting you.
I was going to say, you said, you were saying, Chris, that your wife's a big fan of Buffy. I was like, well, my wife's a big fan of this guy called Jesus Christ. I've heard of him. Pretty cool.
Lord and Savior.
Yeah. And
he's got a pretty decent musical episode as well.
Yeah, I heard that.
Wait, what? All right, my number 7. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, an anime that spans, I think, like 2 decades. A lot of them are OVAs. A lot of them are like 60 minutes, 150 plus episodes. And when I say it's space epic, it is epic. It's more detailed, more in depth, more dramatic than Star Wars and Star Trek will ever be. The scale on this thing is insane. It's seriously one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in my life. And it's sadly I don't have my Blu-ray box set anymore. It's this huge limited edition box set. They only made like 1,000 of them. And they took years for it to sell out because it was like $800 sold out, and now it's going for triple of this. But great epic battles, really intense drama as well. The politics of the 2 factions going at each other is intense. A lot of it could be a little boring from the like from a new person looking in, but once you get hooked, it gets its fangs in you and you can't let go. It's so fun.
Wow.
Another one you guys have probably never heard of.
Yeah, no,
not at all.
Oh man, yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Ice wants to know if I'm a British panel show fan, and absolutely. I love that shit. My number 7 is one that we kind of alluded to earlier tonight, so let's get into a little bit. Justified. Justified is such an interesting show, and Flip and I, we talked on the phone earlier today, and the way I explained it is Justified, I can't remember the number of seasons. I think it's like 6. Yeah, something like that. The first season is fucking dog shit for like 9 out of the first 13 episodes, or 9 or 10, something like that. It's the classic, like, we're doing CSI Miami, but it's in Kentucky for like 9 or 10 episodes. It's the same. We're solving one single crime for an episode, and it's full of drama and somebody strutting around, and it's shit. And then somebody realized about the 10th episode, hey, we can hire real writers. And then they started serializing it, and suddenly the first season ends amazing. It is great. You know, they bring the whole Boyd Crowder storyline kind of tied up to an end, and because they were thinking, hey, we might get canceled after this first season. Let's just do it right and wrap it up. But then they saw how it ended and said, let's bring you back for a second season. And then they made a real show out of it.
Yeah.
The rest of Justified is incredible. It is legitimately similar to The Shield, set in Kentucky, and done in such a perfect way where you feel the relationships of this small town getting in the way of everything, and it's just the same word Flip is used 97 times tonight. It's real, it's gritty, it is it's based around all of these different kinds of crime, and just a couple people that we dug coal together, and that is the basis for this long almost 100 episode show or whatever, and it's so well made. I fell in love with Timothy Oliphant again. I just called him Timmy. That was weird.
Timmy, man. That's the nickname.
I fell in love with Timmy Oliphant. He's always been great, first of all.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he's great in unconventional things too, like the remake of The Crazies. He's fucking amazing in it.
Yes.
Me and the boy Timmy.
Yeah. Timmy Oliphant.
So he's always amazing, but he carries Justified, and he doesn't even have to. That's the thing. The supporting cast is fucking brilliant. Obviously, Walton Goggins is a huge part of the entire show, and we already know he's amazing, so I don't need to, slob that knob anymore. But Timmy Oliphant is all over the entire show and literally carries it on his back, and so everything else is just extra. These random-ass small-town relationships drive these 6 or 7 seasons, whatever it is, just into way above what it should be. And it is such a great way to wrap up the show. And now supposedly we're getting like this random ass reboot next year or whatever.
Sequel.
Like a continuation or something, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do they know where is it going to be back on like FX or did they say?
I don't know that has been stated yet.
Interesting.
They didn't even announce the full final cast yet. So
I wonder if Timmy's going to be back.
Timmy is back. He was the main one that they held the hat from.
Raylan Gibbons.
Oliphant's going to be in the new Gareth Evans movie.
Really?
Havoc. Yeah. It's Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, Timothy Oliphant are the big 3.
Jesus.
So
it's basically Flip Jackoff material.
Dude, I was talking to Fu about this. I was like, dude, it has to be. And then if it is good, because apparently it's not like a martial arts based movie, it's more gun based. If Gareth Evans could pull it off after the Raid 1 and 2, after Apostle being solid and Gangs of London, he's going to be top 10 favorite directors for me of all time. Like the Raid 1 and 2 are classic. And me and him were talking about this. Post Raid, like you start judging action movies after the like when they come out, if they came out before the Raid or after.
Yep.
And I really hope Havoc is that again.
Yeah.
I want to see people.
I just watched Gangs of London a few weeks ago. Such a good fucking show.
We're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. I love that show.
Speaking of when you talk about like action movies after Raid, I know it wasn't Gareth Evans, but The Night Comes For Us.
That's Timo. I can't pronounce his last name, but
yeah.
It's so good.
Dude, the action in that movie is fucking insane. It's so
brutal.
Good.
It's like less like refined than the Raid, but there's a brutality to it that just
definitely.
I love. Ryan needs to watch that movie.
I do. And you know how much I love dumb jokes. You just said the director's name was Timo, and I was hoping somebody gave me a little break. I was going to say, is his last name The Chalamet?
Did you know that Timothy Chalamet had a YouTube channel 11 years ago where he was selling like custom painted Xbox controllers?
Before you said what he was selling, I was waiting to hear like butthole pictures or something like that.
No,
that would have been way on brand.
He's painting Xbox controllers. Yeah, seems like a good dude.
Jesus.
Fu says Timo replied to me on Twitter earlier tonight. I jizzed.
Honestly, Chris, the fight between the operator and the blonde hair girl.
Yes.
One of the best fight scenes ever recorded.
Dude, sometimes I'll look up on YouTube just that clip.
Oh yeah, I think I showed Ryan that clip too.
Dude, so good. It is so good.
So good.
But yeah, as far as Justified, I actually never finished it. It's one of those shows I have a bad habit with this, and my wife gets on me. I will pick up a show, leave during a season, and then just won't return. I'll love the show. I just, for some reason, just have a hard time picking it back up. But but all of what I've seen of Justified, it's such a good series. And yeah, like you said, Oliphant is I think Justified was after Deadwood, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Deadwood way after Deadwood. Yeah. but it's good. Okay, number 6. We're on number 6.
We are.
Going animated and going Rick and Morty.
All right, number 6, Flip.
That fan base ruined that show.
I would agree there.
So it's we'll make this quick. It's a show that we it's a show I literally just stumbled across one night. Just wanted to watch something stupid, short, animated, and I got into that, and then I just been burning through it, and then I'm up to date now. It's number 6, but it's one of those things that's an easy watch. It's fun, it's entertaining, but yeah, I get what you mean about the fan base.
It's a good show, but man, when that Pickle Rick shit started, we would get prank calls of people being like, Pickle Rick! And I wanted to fucking shove their phone.
Oh yeah, about Pickle Rick, yeah. Likewise, I think it's the same creators. They do a show on Hulu called Solar Opposites. I don't know if you watched that one.
Is it good?
It's Rick and Morty humor. So I mean, if the humor doesn't get you from Rick and Morty, then you're fucked. But I mean, if you like the humor and you don't want like a Pickle Rick calling you up, then I think it's pretty good. It's funny.
I will say I agree with Sardis. I think the animation is genuinely really good.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree that a lot of the humor is really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, Harmon created it, the guy that created Community.
I do not think it's funny. I'm so tired of people would call us at the restaurant and scream Pickle Rick at me. It's not funny.
Jesus. Yeah, that has scarred me.
Fuck you, John.
The only time people call me and yell things, they just say fat ass. How come I don't get the fun calls like you?
Well, open a restaurant and then you'll get that on top of Pickle
That'll
Rick.
be on brand for the fat guy, yeah.
I'm fat. What are you talking about? We're both fat.
It's on brand.
Wow.
I love you.
I had a couple friends over for dinner on Sunday night, and I told you earlier today what I made them. And we were eating, and the guy was like, just so you know, before I had this job, I owned a food truck, and if I had this, I would be jealous that I wasn't making this on the food truck. I was like,
there you
that's
go.
Kind of a good phrase.
Wow.
There you go. What are we doing, 6?
Yep, 6.
I'm kind of cheating. Anything Tim and Eric. Anything. Tom Goes to the Mayor, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. I quote that show to this day. When my mom asked me to do something for my dad, I'll go, think about the dad. I want to meet that dad. We just constantly quoting that show. That humor is so dumb. I think I have Stockholm syndrome liking it because all my friends liked it. Because at first I didn't, and then I started watching it with them, and I'm like, fuck, this is actually low key. But yeah, anything Tim and Eric. Love it.
They have done so much shit together, and I got to be honest, I love them both individually. I think more than together on their shows. Random, just so much that they've contributed to. One of the weird things, the Aziz Ansari show on Netflix, Master of None.
Yeah.
Eric Waymeyers, or however you say his last name, is in it and a big part of it. And he is so damn good as the awkward friend. He is such a great actor in that.
Yeah.
If I had to absolutely choose, it'd probably be Tom Goes. That show is fucking.
John says, well, since this is going off the rails, I feel confident in saying that Arrow is one of my personal favorite shows. That's
what's Arrow?
The DCU
CW
show.
Yeah.
Ugh. What?
I really threw a fucking spike strip on the road with that Rick and Morty, man.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a nuclear bomb like Green Arrow.
Let's bring it back in, and I'm going to try to make it semi-smart in something that's hilarious. My number 6. Fuck that. My number 6, I think, is one of my favorite. I don't even know if you'd call it a sitcom, but it is a sitcom. One of the funniest shows of all time because of the number of jokes they deliver in an episode. 30 Rock. Tina Fey is legitimately one of the best comedy writers of all time, and that show is brilliant. I adore everything about that show. Freaking Alec Baldwin, now that he's killed somebody, that's sad, but it's a great show. I mean, Donald Glover got his start on 30 Rock, and look where he's at now. The number of
he's too talented. It's not fair. Comedian, rapper, and actor. Like, go fuck yourself.
And director and everything else. He's done fucking everything.
He's the shit.
Stand-up comedian. So I adore 30 Rock. I think that it has one of the best ensemble casts for any comedy of all time, mostly made up of no-name people. Like, there's very few people that you can actually name that were in most of those episodes. But like Jane Krakowski is amazing in that, obviously. Tracy Morgan, one of the best people to bounce off of. Just ask any Walmart truck. And then you can
Wow.
That's great.
I think that it is genuinely one of the highest consistently rated sitcoms for me ever. Like, I think it's 7 seasons, and all of them are damn near brilliant.
I agree.
I don't think I've watched one episode of 30 Rock. I
Well,
know
you should probably fix that.
I've seen clips. I know the show. I've never watched an episode at all. But I do agree about Tina Fey. I think she's an awesome. Actually,
I'm really, now that we're to 5 almost. I'm wondering what your guys' top 5 is.
I still have 2 more comedies in my top 5, which is weird for me.
Yuck.
I've had a lot of comedies.
Also, I was just say this right now. No, man. No one's put Alexander Plots on their list. Okay, we're not. Do we look like we? I have an eyebrow. Do you think I watched Alexander Plots? Here. Have you guys seen that though?
Nope.
No.
Got a Criterion release, one of the few TV shows that Criterion put out.
Oh,
I
wow.
think I think Second Sight might have put that out too.
Maybe. You know more about them than I do.
Parks and Rec is really good, Eric, but I think overall 30 Rock has a better joke per minute ratio that land properly.
Is Always Sunny on your list?
I don't know. We got 5 left.
Ooh, keeping it vague.
All right. Number 5. The rest of these are gonna get kind of they're gonna have meaning to my life. That's why I kind of threw them in here. So number 5, like I mentioned about Twilight Zone, another horror centric. It's Tales from the Crypt.
Of course.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt is an easy number 5. It's something I grew up watching more. I mean, I grew up watching Twilight Zone, but Tales from the Crypt, I was in front of the TV, HBO at night with my dad. It was a consistent series. The Crypt Keeper. I'll do the Crypt Keeper voice around the house, much to my wife's annoyment.
I was about to say, Flip is going to make you do it.
Oh.
Do it.
Hello, boys and girls.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll scare the shit out of the dogs. Do the laugh. I can hear my wife laughing. That's great.
By the way, just to embarrass him a little bit, Chris said his wife is already having us on the TV in the other room so she can watch along.
Yeah.
That's why the laugh was delayed by 6 seconds. So just listen and you'll hear it again.
That's awesome.
She's usually gaming or watching Netflix shows, and she goes,
"What does she play?"
No. Oh, dude, she's a PC girl. She does like Final Fantasy
14.
Oh shit, babe! Final Fantasy 14.
She better be over 18. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's it.
What's her class?
Wait, 14? What's your class?
I can hear our dialogue on the TV in the other room.
She's a scholar, she said.
I'm a fucking dragoon. Hell yeah.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, that, and then she was on Dragon Age. Dragon Age and Final Fantasy are her.
Yeah. So your wife likes good games.
Yeah. From what I hear, she
and
wants
Chris
to
likes
be
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, and
You guys are a
she
perfect
likes
match.
Rick and Morty too. But yeah, no, Tales from the Crypt, man. It's one of those shows. It's so good, and the talent you look at that from the start of the show to now, like you have like Demi Moore in one of the earlier seasons, and I mean, it's nuts. It's just the cast that made appearances in there is wild.
Pretty much every episode had a huge star in it.
Yeah. And then the first episode was the Christmas. I'm spacing on the name, but I know the Christmas episode, and that still is one people talk about. But yeah, the host, just like with anything, the host makes the show. And the Crypt Keepers is such a good fucking host.
This is the name of the Christmas episode, and All Through the House.
All Through the House. Yep, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, Tales from the Crypt for me. Number
Have you seen
5.
Have you seen any Tales from the Crypt, Flip?
I wasn't allowed to, but I did tell you.
I don't think any of us were allowed to.
No.
I was way too young. I would. My parents made the password on the TV at my grandmother's birthday, so I used to just watch whatever I wasn't told to. Was like not allowed to. But Tales from the Crypt is one of them. My number 5.
Go ahead.
Wait, what? No, you go.
Nope. All I was going to say is I think that we are fortunate that they made Tales from the Crypt films after the TV series, or some of them were during, and they were really good. They had the potential to suck, but they're very.
There was the third. Was that the Ritual one? I was not a fan of.
I gotta be honest. I've never been able to see that one. It is so hard to find.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough. It's a rough flick.
Chris, what was your first exposure to nudity?
Oof, man. Movie nudity, right?
No, just in general.
Oh, just in general?
Because I saw my first vagina at a Perkins when I was like 6 or 7. I'll never forget. Never forget. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, Jesus. Man, first nudity. I can't remember, to be honest with you. Nothing that will never, ever not leave my mind.
Well, it's a good thing, your wife's watching. We'll talk after.
Yeah,
absolutely. My number 5 is Gilmore Girls. Absolutely love Gilmore Girls. There's a picture of me on Facebook holding the complete. No, I'm kidding. Fuck that. Gangs of London is my number 5. I was not expecting to like that. Those
are very similar shows.
Yeah,
very extremely similar. Actually, it's like the same story, pretty much.
Absolutely. The finale.
Gilmore Girls is just it's just the American version of Gangs of London. It should have been called Gangs of the Midwest or whatever they're at.
Yeah. Gangs of Gilmore.
Gangs of Gilmore. Someone please make that. That'd be great. But yeah, Gangs of London is a show that you just turn your brain off because the story goes places that are just nonsensical and silly. But the action is top notch. All the action scenes choreographed by the director of The Raid, Gareth Evans. We talked about him earlier. But episode 5 is, I think, single-handedly the most violent episode of television I've ever seen in my entire life. Where I was like, "This is on television? Like, holy! Like, more graphic than anything on HBO, Netflix. Like, it's so visceral, and it's one of my favorite episodes of anything ever. Like, if you watch it as a standalone movie, it's a great hour. That whole raid on that house is insane. And then the explosion. Ryan, have you seen this?
I've not.
There's a scene where he drops a bag full of grenades and it explodes, and it's slow-mo. The shockwave from the grenade makes the guy running, just evaporate. It's fucking incredible.
Yep.
So
I need to see it.
It's good.
Just watch that episode.
Yeah.
Well, as usual, I have the Blu-ray. I just need to watch it. It is something that I've been dying to watch for a long time, but the Shield doesn't watch itself.
That's true.
And I got to be fair about the whole rewatching of the Shield. I have not seen it in probably 8 or 9 years, so it's like due for a rewatch for me.
Flip, how do you feel about people criticize Cole as too posh to play the lead? I'm not British. They all sound the same. I'll Jerry out. They all sound like that. Sorry, Foo. Is the action coordinator of Gang of London's ex-Hong Kong stuntman Jude Poyer. Wow. That's awesome. A lot of talent behind that show. A lot of talent. And the lead, the black guy. I can't pronounce his name. It's like I don't want to try, but he's incredible. Roy Gilmore did the crip walk in one episode.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Did you see people freaking out about Snoop doing the crip walk and throwing up the C?
Everybody's surprised he smoked a joint before he went up there.
Oh God.
I love it, dude. I love fake outrage.
Then people got crazy for the kneel, Eminem's kneel.
You know what's funny? Like, I was watching that scene live and all that, and Dre is sitting there playing the piano, and I'm just flabbergasted that he's doing so well live on the piano. I didn't even notice Eminem was standing next to him, let alone kneeling. I was just in awe that Dre was
You
playing
didn't know
so
Drake
well.
could play the. You didn't know Drake could play piano?
Dre playing the piano in 2022 at the Super Bowl
That's
well
true.
is a different thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to get political, but people getting upset about Eminem, it's not about the anthem anymore. What's it really
Exactly.
about? Why are you really upset?
It's obviously communism. So
Libtards.
my number 5 is one of the 2 comedies that I have left, and it is what I think is, I mean, technically it's a sitcom, but it's also super dramatic, which is one of the reasons why it's in my top 5, and that is Scrubs. I grew up with Scrubs, and I loved everything about it, primarily because medically, it is one of the most accurate medical shows that's ever been on TV. Comedy-wise, it has a perfect cast. It's got a really great 1-2 punch of Zach Braff and Donald Faison. It's got the corny love scenes that come with everything, but then on top of that, the guest stars that come in and just kill everything they do. I mean, we talked about Colin Farrell earlier. He was in an episode and fucking amazing in it. John C. McGinley, obviously one of the biggest parts of the show, and he is hilarious. And then you get to the dramatic touchings of it. John Ritter played a big part in it up until the day that he died, basically. He was Zach Braff's dad. And then Brendan Fraser, in one of the most touching episodes of comedy TV ever, was in there and brought everybody to tears. That was, paying attention. I love that show. I think that it did not have a perfect wrap up, obviously, because the 9th season is trash. But the first 8, that is the actual Scrubs before they went to a different network, I think that it is one of the best made comedies of all time, hands down.
Did you see the speaking of Scrubs, the Super Bowl commercial with Zach Braff and Donald Faison? What did they do? T-Mobile, I think it was, or
I did not.
I
sadly I missed about 2/3 of the game because I was cooking a big fancy dinner on Sunday night.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. No, I watched. It was one of those. I just a compilation on YouTube, all the 2022 Super Bowl. Yeah, and I saw it on there. I'm like, oh shit.
I need to watch it. Fu says TLC wouldn't agree with me, and then says that was an awful joke. I apologize. Fu, you just heard me make some of the dumbest jokes in the history of the world tonight. I genuinely appreciate that joke, and I should have made it first. So I apologize, but thank you because that was great. Flip, can you stop talking to your woman and tell me your thoughts on Scrubs? Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I went through a phase where I love Scrubs. I haven't seen all of it, but when I got hooked, I was pretty hooked. I think the chemistry of the cast is on par with Always Sunny. I just think they just clash so well.
I agree.
Scrubs is great. Scrubs is fantastic.
One
sorry
thing
for talking to my woman. I was demanding Kit Kat.
Oh, that checks out then. One thing I forgot to mention that I totally wanted to say, the music in Scrubs is one of the best parts of that series. They have some of the best soundtracks to episodes that I've ever heard. And Stendhal says, did I like John C. McGinley's Stand Against Evil? I got to be honest, I don't think I finished it. I know I started it, so I probably should not give an opinion.
That's what I wanted to check out too.
Yeah.
Standing Against Evil looks so good.
It does.
Okay, number 4. Again, another childhood made me the person I am today. Beavis and Butthead. That was, I see the thumbs up from Flip. Yeah, man, Beavis and Butthead. That was one where I think it was Beavis and Butthead before South Park. So, my mom watched me watching Beavis and Butthead. She'd shake her head. Same thing with like South Park, shaking her head. But no, man, Beavis and Butthead was just, it was stupid. And looking back, I started watching some of the old episodes now. I mean, they're dumb. and my brother-in-law loved him when he was a kid. My wife makes fun of him, but it's I don't know, man. There's something about it. It's nostalgic. It's just stupid comedy, but it's good, man. It's great. And Mike Judge, man, Mike Judge, Office Space, Idiocracy. It's I love Judge, and Beavis and Butthead was just the first stepping stone.
I think even Mike Judge's lesser things are very well written.
Yeah, even we just watched a year or two ago. Watched Extract.
Extract is pretty damn good.
Extract is good, man. I remember seeing it in the theater and being let down, and then we watched it last year sometime, and I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Flip. I just realized. Go ahead.
Wait, what?
I was going to say, I just realized I can unmute you.
Oh, Jesus.
I think his internet was going out, and so he'll be up in just a second.
I saw that. He said he was getting ready to kick off a really good memory. But...
I was about to tell him. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
I was about to say I can unmute you after you mute yourself and just hear your whole conversation when you think we can't hear you.
Well, I'm actually not talking. I'm chewing and looking at the dog and teasing.
Well, that and blowing ass.
Like you want
crazy.
one, you're gonna die. Well, yeah. Actually, Chris, a little known secret about the show. What was that? When you hear me not talking, the mic's muted. I am blowing farts.
Oh,
like it's my job. I have a really weird memory with Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
So all my family owns like pizza places. We're at my cousin's that's like 3 hours away. All the kids are watching Beavis and Butthead. We're not supposed to, but we're watching.
Yeah.
And my older cousin was grinding cheese, the owner of the place, and he fucking put his finger in the cheese grinder and lost his finger. So every time I think of Beavis and Butthead, I think of my dumbass cousin losing a finger.
It's actually a solid memory.
I got to be honest, as great as Beavis and Butthead is, I don't even think it's the best Mike Judge animated show. I think King of the Hill is leagues better.
I am so excited for the reboot.
Oh, the rebooting King of the Hill?
Yeah, sequel. It's going to be like they're all older now.
Oh, shit.
Supposedly, yeah.
Well, they're doing one for Beavis and Butthead, too. I think they're doing a reboot of Beavis and Butthead as well. I think
anything for nostalgia dollars.
Oh, yeah. And
Futurama thing now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about
that.
Man,
they need to reboot Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and then I'll be fucking happy, dude.
Except it'll be called Aqua Middle Age.
Aqua.
Sure, man. My name is Rod.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
See, you can do the Crypt Keeper. I can do a mentally challenged ball of meat, which is basically just what I am.
I was about to say, you're not even playing a character.
Holy shit.
Are we on number 4?
Yes.
Bosch. Bosch is my number 4, man. I was not expecting to like that show as much as I did, and it kicked off this. I started in what, Ryan? Like November?
Yeah.
When I started Bosch, like October, November. Started watching it, and it's ever since then I have watched a cop show. So I watched all of Bosch, all of Longmire, and now all of S.H.I.E.L.D. since November. But Bosch is so fucking good. It might be my second favorite cop show. It is my second favorite cop show. It's just, it's like, his name's Titus, the main actor. Yeah. Everyone's got such a chemistry with each other. There's like inside jokes. His partner's name is Jay. It's like J. Edgar. So he calls him like J. Edgar Hoover. There's just like a lot of like cool little like funny, heartfelt jokes. His relationship with his daughter is great, and people die in that show that you would not expect it. Like it takes some pretty. It like goes places that are very strong, and I cannot wait for the sequel series because he's now he's a PI, he's a private investigator now, instead of cop. Excited, and the whole cast is coming back, so I'm pretty pumped.
Titus, the guy that plays Bosch, he's also really great on Sons of Anarchy. Genuinely,
yeah, he is, dude.
Of that movie or show.
Yeah, he is.
All right, you haven't seen Bosch, have you, Chris?
No, actually, I haven't. I heard amazing things. It's just among the countless numbers of movies I still have to get through. TV shows, they always ride shotgun.
We're just keeping up the tradition of not watching anything Flip loves.
Yeah, exactly.
My number 4 has already been alluded to earlier as well, and it is my final comedy, and it has to be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it is the funniest show of all time. I think that it is legitimately one of the few remaining shows that can push the button in a way that pisses off every side of the aisle in the right way. And the people that genuinely get offended by that show are just hilarious to me, that they really do not understand the premise of the show. That, we're supposed to be looking at these people like they are awful people. And it is such a well-made show where you can genuinely sympathize with a bunch of people that have like a collective IQ of like 120 between 5 different characters. And it is
That's
so
actually just us
masterfully
three.
done. Well, Flip's got like 10 of those. How many you got, Chris?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so It's Always Sunny. First of all, just they deserve all the acclaim in the world because they've been on for so long.
Yeah.
The fact that they are legitimately the longest running sitcom in history is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Stendhal says Danny DeVito had some of the best scenes ever out of his entire career. I mean, the dude climbed naked out of a couch. How do you top that at his age? And I mean, the fact that he wasn't even a part of the first season and now he is the most recognizable character is hilarious. The side characters that they've built up with, lawyers with giant hands and people dressing up as a cat and a family of inbred pieces of shit that live across the hall and come out of every wing imaginable, a guy that you've seen his life literally decay in front of your eyes over the last 15 years. It is such a wonderful show. I can't fathom anybody watching that for more than 20 minutes and saying, I hate this. I just can't fathom anybody hating that show.
My biggest regret is not putting that on my top 10. That show is so good. I don't know why it's not on it. There's that episode I remember where oh my god, where they were trying to hit on the pharmacist and they had that trick where he's going to open up his wallet and there's going to be like a condom in there or whatever, and the highlight was Danny DeVito cuts in and he said he was coming in and getting scraps and they wanted the chick to call him Mantis. He said, I got my wad of cash and I'm ready to plow. That was so good.
John, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, says, a show has to be good that we studied an episode of it in film school. The Marine Ponderosa Massacre episode. We spent 3 days on it. That's awesome. That is such a legacy to have.
Wow.
All right, gentlemen, we are into the top 3.
All right. So number 3, I'm going to cheat and I'm doing 2 miniseries into one spot. Got to let it happen. I'm doing Band of Brothers in the Pacific.
Of
in
course. One. They're too.
There we go. The reason I'm
I love how we saw the hand of God in the corner of the frame there, handing you this dog.
Her favorite show is Paw Patrol.
She must be on a different phase. Last week it was Blue's Clues.
Oh shit.
Well, she's got a little older. Calm down. All right, bye.
And in dog years, that's like a couple months.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's such a good pick. I feel bad that I didn't even put it on my top 10. Band of Brothers is just it's fucking perfect. It's literally so perfect.
Good. Yeah, it's got the Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, factor. That's why I blend them together. But we when Band of Brothers came out, at the time, my mom, her boyfriend at the time, he was an ex drill instructor in the Army. So what he would do is he had this massive knowledge of movies, and so what he would do with war movies is he would sit there and pluck out the factual bits of war knowledge, I guess, in everything we watch, war movies and whatnot. So Band of Brothers was like this running trivia track when I was watching it with him. And it was informative. It was very informative. But the series, the two miniseries are fantastic. They're just so good.
I was part of a Christian youth group, and we would everyone get together and watch Band of Brothers for some reason. Why is that? Why do Christian youth groups love Band of Brothers? Have you guys noticed that?
Because they're so military focused. Literally, there is this is going to be a deep cut for all those that grew up Christians in Southern Baptist. There is a group of Southern Baptist churches that has their version of like Boy Scouts kind of, and it's called Awanas, and everything about it is.
I did Awanas.
Think about it. Everything about Awanas is military based. All of the awards that you get looks militaristic. The way that they make you memorize certain things and like stand at attention to do all kinds of weird shit. It is so military based. God, Christianity is weird.
It sucks, I would say.
Yeah. The only other thing I would throw in about Band of Brothers and the Pacific is the fucking cast, dude.
Yes,
the fact that you can look at every single person from like 2000 to 2013, everybody was in Band of Brothers. It is
Isn't Tom Hardy in that?
Tom Hardy, I was actually going to say Black Hawk Down. You look at Black Hawk Down cast, that Tom Hardy is in that. He might be in Band of Brothers, but I know he was in Black Hawk Down. He had about as big of a role as Johnny Depp had in Platoon. It was small, but
there was like a small window where military stuff was just done so incredibly well.
Oh,
Band of Brothers, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah. You look at Pacific, Rami Malek in the Pacific.
Oh, he's in the Pacific?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah, he's a main player in that too, in the Pacific.
We don't get that many good military stuff. We got American Sniper a few years ago. That was fucking fantastic.
I thought you said good.
I'm a big Chris Kyle fan.
Speaking of, you want to call it back to Mindhunter, that there's a scene in American Sniper, Jonathan Groff. He plays a injured vet. He runs into Bradley Cooper at like a fucking discount tire or something. Lost his leg. Just bringing it back to Mindhunter. No fucking reason. Just wanted to do it.
Sardis says combat was popular when I was young, and I was going to make a joke, but I couldn't tell if that was in entertainment or in.
Well,
life.
Sardis is older. Yeah,
right.
He grew up. Yeah, so he's like, he probably like Vietnam War and stuff.
Korean War.
What's your favorite war?
What's
your favorite war, Chris? Shout out to drugs for winning the war on drugs.
There we go.
Ronald Reagan is my hero.
Yeah, there we go.
Love Ronald Reagan. Huge fan.
Turns out everyone in Hollywood loved his wife.
Trickle down. Wait, what? Was she a host?
Did you not hear that? There was a book written.
No.
There was a book written recently that supposedly says Nancy Reagan gave the best blowjobs in Hollywood, and that's all she.
Nancy Reagan gave sloppy toppy to a bunch of people.
To everyone.
Oh.
Monica
Conservatives not acting conservatively? That's mind blowing.
It's never happened once.
Babe, Nancy Reagan, while she was married, was just blowing dudes in Hollywood.
Just got 9,000 everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Gok 9,000 everywhere.
Got 9,000.
Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't get blown by Nancy Reagan. Is she still alive?
Oh, no.
Guy giving a blowjob.
Guy doing what she loved best.
Absolutely. Just like a trooper.
Sardis says, how do you think Ronnie became president? She blew his way to the top.
Wow.
Well, it gives a whole new meaning to trickle-down economics.
All right. I think we are on flips number 3.
3. This is where it's tough. But number 3, The Shield. I loved The Shield, but it does not beat the other. I know. And I thought about this all day. I was like, damn, where do I put The Shield because it's so well done. But as I thought about it all day, I think the other two shows are better, in my opinion. But The Shield is a masterpiece. These top threes for me are 10 out of 10.
I think you and I have the same number 2.
I don't think we do. I don't think we do.
All right, so we'll talk more about the Shield in just a minute.
Yeah. Yep.
My number 3, to bring it back to one that we talked about earlier, I'm a lot hotter on Breaking Bad. This one hit at just the perfect time for me. Breaking Bad's my number 3. I think that it is one of the best written dramas ever. I think that the amount of things that tie from the first season to the end of, it's so dumb to say this, but the end of season 5, part 2, and that they are perfectly in line, and that the character development is always right in line somehow, exactly where it should be. Vince Gilligan, literally just a master writer. He genuinely can teach like an entire generation how to develop characters properly. And the fact that we have entire like online communities dedicated to finding random ass connections, you know, week to week, they would watch an episode live and say, I saw this, and that means that in the next episode these 3 things are probably going to happen. It's I mean, obviously that's happened for other shows, but it was to a fanatic level because it was at that perfect time where online and social media was just hitting, obviously. And then the last thing we've talked about, the theater experience being a big, like when I saw Jackass 3 in theaters, it made my score probably go from a 4 to like a 7 out of 5. And oddly enough, I watched the final episode of Breaking Bad in a loaded movie theater with a full room of fans of Breaking Bad, and it made the end of that show it was like a perfect 10 out of 10. Being in that room with everybody passionate about it, it was so amazing to feel that fervor growing and growing and growing. And obviously, just a great final episode of how it tied up every single thing in that show. So, yep, that blew it up there to me. I think that the last season 4 and 5 of Breaking Bad are some of the best 1-2 punches ever in TV.
I agree. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'll never forget. I took a break from work and watched the season finale and went to work and was like, fucking great.
Yeah, I think we ended up finishing it up after it ended, and to like stay away from spoilers and everything that happened was insane. I don't know how we did it, but
how did you do that?
No idea, man. So we have a thing, and this is another that ties into why I bail out of shows and don't catch up. We like watching things binging, just in straight succession.
Yeah.
And if we watch something live and they take a year off, like we'll lose interest and we'll just forget to jump back in it. So with Breaking Bad, we waited until the show ended and then just went back and like watched it all and just tried not to see what happened. It was difficult, but we did it. But yeah, by the end, it was insane. I was just bringing to ask about El Camino.
I genuinely did like El Camino a lot, primarily because it gave us more Jesse Plemons. I think that we were missing Jesse Plemons a lot in that final season. I think that they leaned heavily on the elders around that group of people. And I think El Camino was really well acted. And the big thing, Jesse Plemons and Aaron Paul, they deserved that extra hour and a half or whatever it was.
Such a good closure to that story.
I agree. And yes, I agree with John. Everybody hates on Rian Johnson, but he did direct the greatest episode of that show.
What show's that? Well, I mean, what episode's that?
I believe it was Ozymandias. It was one of the last 2 or 3 episodes.
I mean, Rian Johnson's such a huge dick, though.
And obviously, it's not like he wrote the episode. It was all laid out for him, and he did direct it, and he had a style to emulate and all that. But he was involved in one of the best things ever to come out in entertainment. So,
yeah.
Magnets, bitch.
All right, number 2.
Yes.
Moving on. All right, number 2 is The Sopranos. Is it higher for you guys? You want to wait to talk about it?
It's higher for one of us.
You want to do it now, or you want to wait till we hit you?
Let's wait a little.
All right.
All right. I think we have the same number 2. Let's hear it, Flip.
Gamora. Number 2.
Fuck you.
I told you were like, wait, it's number 2, and I said no, we don't.
It was a joke because I knew that you had Gamora high.
Gamora is, man, if it wasn't for most of the last season of Gamora, it would have overtaken Sopranos. It's the most gritty, realistic mafia show I've ever seen. It's based on a book. Criterion put out the movie that the book is based on, and then they did this television show not related to the movie. Same crew behind 000, and now they're doing a Django reboot, a television Django series. Excited to see what that's like. But yeah, it's about the Camorra crime family in Naples, Italy, and all the like infighting that happens and the drug trade and how they police each other, and it goes places. People die frequently. Favorite character, like they'll set up characters, and you think they're gonna have this huge impact on the show. They're gonna last forever, and then like without any like send off, they're just dead, and they don't linger on it. They just dead, move on. And it's such a good show, very well written. But like I said, the last season, a little hit or miss here and there, but overall, a near perfect show. Highly recommend it. Kino's putting out the seasons.
Yeah, I seen those on the Kino sales. I just never jumped in to see what it was about. It sounds interesting.
Great.
Yeah. I check it out.
Moving on. My number 2 is The Wire.
Never
heard. Genuinely, probably the best. It is the best crime-based show out there. I think that The Wire is more focused on the crime than my number 1 is. My number 1, obviously, it's also a crime show, but very different. I think that The Wire is it is the show that came before that we need to respect. This and The Sopranos and obviously my number 1, they all came out within a period of like 3 years, which is crazy to think that there was a time that all 3 of those shows were on at the same time. You realize that, Flip? That's crazy.
Wild.
I can't imagine just spending a week, all new episodes for those 3 shows. Yeah, so The Wire is great because it's one of those shows where it doesn't last too long on a single storyline. Each season has one major focus and it resolves nicely. A lot of people shit on the 5th season of The Wire. I think that it's good. It's just the fact that it was, the predecessor was the 4 seasons before that were damn near perfect. Season 4 of The Wire is probably the best season of TV ever made on any show. I think that it is that great. Sardis says, I am missing all kinds of decades of TV. Wait till you hear my honorable mentions. I got to be honest. I felt that as I was writing my top 10, I realized that everything was from the last 25 years, literally. And the fact of the matter is, I think that we are in a golden age of TV that it would be ignorant for me to rate anything higher than that. Because, I don't have the nostalgia of MASH being perfect for me. I don't have the nostalgia of I Love Lucy changing my life because they put the beds together for the first time or anything like that. I think that they're well made. I Love Lucy is a great show. I've got nothing against it. I just
it wasn't I Love Lucy, was it? It was the Mary Tyler Moore show. Is the bed thing, right?
Right. The joke was in I Love Lucy, their beds never touched. I understand all of that. The fact of the matter is, though, that I think that every single one of the ones on my top 10 are better just in terms of us getting better and making more realistic shows over the last 80 years. I've got nothing against any of those shows. I think that they're very well made. I do think The Wire is the second best show of all time for me.
I will say I do have something against the show. They fucking suck.
All right.
Someone has to say it. I says, to be frank, though, people will gravitate to what they grow up with.
to a point. There is a lot of stuff on my honorable mentions that I did not grow up with, that I've purposefully sought out over the last couple of years, and I understand and respect them. They're just not my top 10. What's up, Skolder? You just showed up in time for everybody's number one. So, Chris, number one TV show of all time.
Okay, I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm gonna flip my number 2 and 1. I've been thinking about this the whole time, and it's yeah. So I'm gonna fuck up the rotation. I'm gonna fuck up the list. I'm flipping my number 1 and number 2.
This is unprecedented.
It is unprecedented.
No one's never done this on this show.
No one's never done it.
I'm a game changer. It's been taxing me, this whole list, and I will have to cut a toe off if I keep The Sopranos from the number 1.
But you kept Rick and Morty.
I kept Rick and Morty. Yes, I did. and that is the pinky toe coming off with the Rick and Morty. But so what was number 1 is now number 2 is The Office, the U.S. Office. Now it might have a Rick and Morty effect. But,
no, I love The Office. I have a lot of respect for it.
The Office came at a really good time for me as well. A lot of my friendships started around The Office with friends, watching The Office, quoting The Office. Me and my wife, we binged The Office because I'd never seen every episode, and then we binged it, and it's a good show, man. It's a lot of great comedy. Steve Carell blossomed from The Office, and you look like John Krasinski got just crazy love from The Office. Everybody, I was just gonna say Ed Helms. It's and then even when Steve Carell left, it wasn't quite as good, but it didn't step down too far to where the show was ass. It was still watchable. It was still funny. It still had good quality. But yeah, I know, like when you guys said the Scrubs, I was never big on Scrubs, but as far as sitcoms go, like The Office was definitely a high point. But again, it was number 1. Now it's number 2.
I implore you, now that you have all of that respect for The Office, to go back now with your more mature mindset and try 30 Rock again. I think you'll find that it fits you a lot better at this age.
Yeah, I will.
How old are you, Chris?
33.
God, you're so.
And just wanted to bring up this fact again, because we've talked about this before, and all of these shows have been brought up tonight. In one night on Must See TV NBC, they used to show The Office, Community, Parks and Rec, and 30 Rock every Thursday night.
That's insane.
Yes, Chris Pratt was in The Office.
Chris Pratt was in Parks and Rec, not The
Parks
Office.
and Rec, yeah.
Oh, same.
All right, so now we're on Flip's number 1.
I think it's all our number 1, baby. The Sopranos. Wait, what?
Soprano. No, for Ryan.
That's not your number 1?
Nope.
You're gonna put some weird shit like 6 feet.
It's not even in my top 25.
The Sopranos?
Hold, please. I've not finished The Sopranos ever.
What
Wow.
the fuck?
What's even more shock? I've never watched one episode of The Wire. Dude, I have the box set. I have the Blu-ray box set. I've been meaning to sit down, and I've never watched one single episode.
Well, Chris and I's number 1 is The Sopranos.
Sopranos.
Fucking
Fantastic.
great show.
Fantastic fucking show.
My favorite moment is Christopher's girl gets in a car crash with Tony, and she dies, and they're like, there's no way that she wasn't blowing it, just the way the seatbelt marks or whatever. And you would think in this moment, and I've said this before, I talk about the scene because I think it's the perfect character description of Tony Soprano, is that you think this should be a reflection on how his life is spiraling out of control. His nephew's wife just died, and then it cuts to him in therapy, and he's like, "Yeah, everyone's thinking He goes, "You know what? I should have fucked her. I never did." Like that was his reaction to his nephew's wife's dying. And he's such a piece of shit. Like Tony Soprano's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's not a good dude, but he's charismatic.
Yeah, and I remember like watching it when it first came on, when it was every Sunday on HBO, and then we rewatched it before going into Many Saints of Newark. But just Tony, he is a fucking hard dude to like get on board with. It's like you want to, because he's such a good fucking character, dude. He is so good, but it is so hard for you to fucking side with him because he's such a prick. And
he's a mess.
Yeah, and like I know my wife was like, "Oh, he's getting better up, but he's fucking around on Carmella or whatever," and she's like, "He's a fucking asshole." But
Ryan, can we spoil the ending of Sopranos?
Yeah, I'll forget.
Okay. Do you think Tony dies at the end?
Dude, that's been something no, I don't think he does.
I think he does because there's a scene earlier on in the show where they're talking about like, what do you think it's like when you die? And Tony says something along the lines of, I think the music just dies out. Everything just goes black.
Black, yep.
Like
yep.
You don't see it coming, you just don't know. So I think when the music cuts and it's black, I think Tony gets whacked right to the end.
And I read that theory and I thought about that and I want to say yes. I just think that the fact that the last episode ends with so many like red herrings of shit that's going on, you know, everybody comes to the door. Who the fuck is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? The fact that
David Chase said he dies.
Oh, he did.
David Chase said he dies. I mean,
oh well, shit.
I remember watching that series finale with my parents and them just being like, "What the fuck?" Like getting pissed. They're like, "That's it."
Yeah.
But I think there's no. I don't think there's a better way to show a send off for that one character.
Yeah.
Because if you show it directly, people will be like, "Oh, that's what needed to happen." But you do it in a way where it's still discussed how many years later after this?
Oh, absolutely. I was one of the we were one of the many who thought the fucking cable went out. Like we thought something. Yeah. We thought the power. Something happened. The TV shut down. Fucking we didn't know what happened. But yeah, it's
Ryan,
still being discussed.
I was going to say, Ryan, at the end of Sopranos, Tony, Carmella, his boy are all in this diner, and he's waiting for the daughter to come in, and they're all going to have dinner together. And there's some, sketchy people going in and doing, just being around.
Right.
And then
the
daughter walks in. Yeah, Journey's playing "Don't Stop Believing's" playing, and as his daughter walks in, he makes eye contact with her. It says "Don't stop," and then the screen just goes black.
Yeah,
it's so well done, dude.
It's black screen for like 30 seconds or so before, directed by or whatever, created by.
Which is crazy to do.
As an Italian American, James Gandolfini's death, like there's two celebrity deaths that have hit really hard for me, and it's him and Anthony Bourdain. Like those two, just
Anthony Bourdain was such a good person.
Yeah, and so was James Gandolfini. He was like a great dude,
right?
A really, and he was like he didn't like, because apparently he was like really soft spoken, like really like quiet. It took a lot out of him to be Tony Soprano, So, but rest in peace. I mean, he went out with his family in Italy, coked up. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. You watch Gandolfini in like all those movies in the 90s, like True Romance and like Get Shorty.
Yeah.
Well, he just plays a like an asshole. And
Perdita Durango, like I bought
Perdita Durango, yeah. And then you watch him in interviews, totally different. He drops the Jersey accent. He is like super well spoken, just like you said, soft spoken guy. It's crazy.
There's
what?
Oh
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a Instagram page I follow that like finds the exact shirts Tony Soprano wore in episodes and then like sells them, and I'm always like, man, I really want to get some of these fucking shirts, man. Start dressing like a real WAP. Just just Taylor said that she thinks I'd be really hot if I had a gold chain. Just start wearing those bowling shirts, had my like my trousers pulled up.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Did you watch Many Saints of Newark? Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I didn't like it, man.
Me neither. Me neither.
I think his son did a great job.
Agreed. Yes.
Great job. And it's that I watched an interview with his son. Throw that over here so I can, because we were talking about him recently. My wife, I'm always like, who's your celebrity crush? And it's this. She says it's Danny DeVito. So we have a sequence pillow of Danny DeVito, and my daughter said, "I said, Bridget, who is that?" She goes, "That's Daddy."
That's Daddy.
So
Wow.
yeah, look at you smiling over there. She's like,
That's
but yeah,
fantastic.
I didn't like Many Saints of Newark. I mean,
I thought it was it was too much. It was too many Easter eggs. They try to hit fans with too many Easter eggs. And yeah, like I said, Michael Gandolfini, I thought he was great playing Tony, young Tony, but it felt like a very copy and paste mob movie. It felt like someone was trying to do a Big Lots version of Goodfellas. It fucking
Brian,
it
did
was
you see this?
So your wife prefers tall men.
Wow.
Oh, Sardis,
Wow.
that's perfect.
That's good, Sardis. What I was gonna say is that I feel like Many Saints of Newark would have worked better as like a miniseries, like
I
8
agree.
episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Just flushed out those Easter eggs, flushed out those plot lines.
Yeah.
Felt too rushed,
Yeah.
and the cast should have been great. The cast is stacked.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was stoked to see like John Bernthal play his dad, and then
Yep.
he was in like 10 minutes of the movie.
I was hoping that it would have been like the Deadwood movie, because the Deadwood movie was great. What a great wrap up to that series.
Yeah.
I was hoping that's what it would have been, but
The thing that really got me on the Saints of Newark is when they brought Ray Liotta, his twin. When Ray Liotta had an identical twin in prison, I was just like, what the fuck are they doing here? It was too much in too confined of a runtime.
we haven't gotten to Ryan's number one. So Ryan, what is your number one?
Yeah, Ryan.
My number one is no surprise. It's already been talked about. My number one is The Shield. I think that it is a perfect TV show for me. I think that it has the best cast of any of these shows. I think it is the best cop show, which is a lot of these shows are cop and crime based shows, law enforcement based, but it is again near and dear. I think a couple episodes ago we talked about this. I grew up in Southern California, so I was the age where I witnessed the Rodney King beating. I witnessed the Rodney King riots. I witnessed
You were there
from a lot of that. I was close. I was born in Pomona, which is just less than an hour away from LA. And it's to the point where like my grandparents were scared of certain things. They were scared of my grandma used to go downtown LA for a lot of things for work. So it genuinely impacted my family. There was a lot that happened around that age. And then, all of the Rampart stuff that was happening in LA that inspired The Shield is a big deal. And it's when you're in that culture and a part of it, it is a very different style show. And not to be a downer on everything, kind of grew up in that scene. Like my mom and dad met because my dad was her dealer. I was there when my mom got arrested as part of a drug house. I grew up witnessing a lot of the shitty things that happened, and it was not a great time in my life. But everything now is great. And what Sardis says, I seem to always gravitate to what I'm currently watching. Hell no.
Ryan has been talking highly of The Shield for a long time. It took him like a month to convince me to watch it. And during that time, he was like, it's my favorite show. So this has been consistent.
I watched The Shield live when it was happening, and I've rewatched it. I think this is, I'm going to say the word only here, because remember, this show started in 2002. I'm only rewatching it for the third time since 2002. So yeah, it's not something that I'm spending a lot of time on. It's not because I'm currently watching it. I just rewatched it because we've been talking about it. I love The Shield. I think that it wraps up better than any show ever made. And I think that it is, the biggest thing is I like to feel things. And the final episode of The Shield gave me full on existential dread. And I hated that, but I also loved that. And it's perfect for me.
Vic Mackey makes me want to be a cop.
In the best and worst ways.
I'm so sad about Lynn, man. He was just eating a sandwich. He was just enjoying his sandwich. Shane? Kaboof! Dude, I did not think I could hate Shane more at that point until he killed his fucking pregnant
That
wife.
final episode, right, with the family?
I was so pissed.
You were texting me. You're like, Shane is such a piece of shit. And I was like, just wait.
I was texting Ryan updates at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Wow, because Taylor bought me these it's like waterproof phone case I can put my phone in. So I hang it above the sink. As I'm washing dishes, I'm just watching The Shield and binging it. And I would like swipe up and text you, and then I was just like, "What the fuck? Fuck Shane!" I was like, it blew me away, made me angry. I could never kill my wife.
No, God no. And
she's a sweetheart.
The way that they framed him doing that with the kids and her, like, it was so well done. And again, I think I talked about this earlier with the way that certain shows get you to sympathize with really shitty characters, like on The Shield. You said earlier when you were watching it, Shane's girlfriend sucks. She is the worst character on the show.
But she's ride or die.
Exactly. And at the very end, I'm like, I can't believe he's going to kill her. She was so great.
She was ride or die, dude. She was loyal. She stole from him. Everyone's complex in that show. Lynn was genuinely like the only decent person out of that group. And then even Vic had like weird, like they tell stories about Vic, like that hooker he's friends with. He like helped her bring her son into the world, helped her get off drugs. So he's got like a weird moral code where he loves children, doesn't want to hurt children, but then he'll beat the fuck out of people who are innocent. Such a good show.
I know. After watching The Shield, I remember I wanted to kind of stay on the Michael Chiklis path and see what else he did. He didn't do like a whole bunch. And as far as TV, I think he did a Vegas show with Dennis Quaid that went for like one season. And then Michael Chiklis after the Shield was his highlight.
And he was literally perfect in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's perfect. And as a short king, he makes me feel great. Wait, Chris, how tall are you?
6'3".
God damn it, dude. My wife's taller than me. You gotta stand on my tippy toes and kiss her.
Next year, your daughter will be taller than you.
My daughter will be taller than me.
No lie.
That's
my
why I'm
oldest
lifting,
next year will probably be taller than you.
That's why I'm lifting weights. So like when she brings guys home, they'll be like, "Oh, your dad's short," but it's like, no, I will kill you. I will kill you in my bury.
And just
do you have
kids,
Chris?
Huh?
Do you have kids?
Well, no. Working on it, but not yet.
See, when people say, "Yeah, we're trying," it's just a publicly acceptable way to say I'm coming inside my wife.
It's a weird way to say we're fucking. Yeah.
We're fucking. Just to, see if you said that, if you're like, "Yeah, I'm fucking the shit out of my wife and coming inside her," people would be like, "Whoa!" But if you're like, "Yeah, we're trying to conceive," everyone's like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
Yeah,
you know?
It's interesting when my grandparents ask me, "So how's it going?" I'm still fucking regularly, you know.
Oh man. Should we do honorable mentions? Did everybody make like an actual list?
Because this was hard.
I have some. Yeah.
You know how hard it was to not include any Asian shit?
Dude, you know how I always do this when we're like, let's pick a top 5, and I come up with like 10 or 12 or whatever. You do the same thing. I have a list of 25 fully ranked.
Chris, you should have seen our end of the year discussion. He's like, we're gonna do 10 4Ks. He brings like 50.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at all this.
It's hard, man. It's hard when Ryan told me we have to do a top 10. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like going through like TV shows. And I'm like, oh fuck, man. 10. It's nuts, man.
What's crazy though, 10 is still like a kind of a bigger number. A lot of these people that do these episodes like these, it would be only a 5.
Yeah. Or they'll be edgy and do 7 or 8.
Right. All right, Chris, you want to share your honorable mention since you went first?
Yeah, actually, an honorable mention that was literally in and out of the bottom 10, the Shield. I was right there with the Shield. The only reason why it's not is because I haven't seen it in at least 10 plus years. I watched it when I still had roommates. And I've known my wife for 8 years, so it was a long, long fucking time ago. But no, I remember loving it, and it was such a close entry in the top 10. It's one of those ones I have to get back and rewatch again.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other big ones?
Yeah. So let me see. The Shield. I had Dexter. I've
never watched Dexter at all.
So yeah, see, and the first season of Dexter, I watched it, dropped off, and didn't get back to it. I jumped back on it, and honestly, the last season, it's rough, and the final episode is rough. I haven't started the new series that Showtime brought back, but it's good. It is good. And then I mentioned earlier, cartoon South Park. South Park was another one I had on the list, and Entourage. I actually was on a binge with Entourage. That was another bingeable show for us. It's just interesting seeing, I mean, the characters are, they're blown out. They're a little overblown, but the comedy and the friendship is what kind of got me. The friendship aspect of all of them, and just the behind the scenes of LA and the cameos were solid.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched Entourage either. Flip, am I remembering right? Didn't you like Dexter? I feel like you did. I can't remember.
Did I what?
Did you like Dexter? I feel like we talked about it before.
I loved it up until like season 4, whenever his wife died.
Right.
That's season 4. No, there was one after with John Lithgow. That season's the final good.
Lithgow's the Trinity Killer was fucking awesome. He was a highlight of that season. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
My StreamYard just started lagging real bad. I'm gonna back out and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
What a fucking douche that guy is, right, Chris?
Sopranos not number 1? Give me a
what the
break.
fuck? He hasn't finished it? He doesn't like gabagool, right, Chris?
Yeah, some gabagool.
Even 3 seconds.
I knew that you probably had it open in a tab.
I didn't. I just, because I was leaving, it was still loading. God. Anyways. All right. So we had Dexter, South Park. Did you have any more of those that you watched that you wanted to throw anything in there from what he said?
Yeah.
South Park is good, and I agree with that. I think that it was a lot more influential, obviously, for those first.
Yeah.
God, what are we on, like 24 seasons now or whatever?
Yeah, and that's where, like, when you were talking about, I'm sorry, It's Sunny. It's Sunny was also another one, just because it's like South Park, where I literally haven't kept up with all of the seasons, but I think that Sunny has better staying power than South Park with all the seasons, because just the comedy I think is way better than South Park.
I agree there.
Yeah.
All right, Flip, what do you got?
The Mute Samurai. I love this show, dude. It's so fucking good. It's so incredibly good. Chris, if you don't know, have you seen The Great Silence?
Dude, I haven't watched it with Klaus Kinski, right?
Yeah. So Hideo Gosha, who's directed, I think, 3 Outlaw Samurai is the only Criterion release he said. Him and the star of Zatoichi were going to buy the rights to The Great Silence and turn it into a movie franchise in Japan because it was a hit.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually Clint Eastwood swooped in and bought the rights, and then I think he did Joe Kidd is what came up with that.
Okay.
But they were like, fuck it, we don't have to have the rights, let's just take that concept and run with it. So they had the Mute Samurai, which is a guy, same plot as Great Silence. Guy has his throat slit as a young kid. He can't talk. He's a badass warrior. It's really fucking awesome. Very action-packed, very bloody. Only 26 episodes.
Shit.
Love it. I also want to give a shout-out to the Lone Wolf and Cub television show. I'm a big fan of that. Not even for the meme at this point. I genuinely love that show. It's great. I won't discuss too much. And I also want to talk about what was the other one I have over there? The Sleepy Eyes of Death. They had a TV show called Sons of the Black Mass, which ran for 2 seasons. Also really good. Yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Deadwood, obviously.
I'm kind of surprised that one hasn't got any
Yeah, I'm
talk
blown
on
away.
tonight.
I thought one of us would have it.
Yeah, I
Deadwood, yeah.
literally just I jumped back in it about a week ago. Just started kind of making my way through it again.
I need to watch it again. I've only ever watched it once, and for some reason it didn't. Not that it was bad, it just didn't like have that emotional attachment for me.
Well, your boy Timmy though.
That's true. Timmy is amazing.
Timmy.
All right, I guess I have to run down this full list now. My 25 is The Good Place. I love Michael Schur and everything he's created. I think that it's a very deep show, really well acted, great cast. 24, The IT Crowd, just one of the funniest. Look at these bitches.
He's been at my feet, man.
The IT Crowd, one of the funny shows of all time. I think that it's super simple, and I think that's what a lot of these shows are missing. They go over the top a little too much. My number 23, Batman the Animated Series. I think that was a life-changing series. I think that was something that really affected me, made me love comics. That, and then obviously the 90s X-Men show just genuinely instilled.
He's getting a sequel.
Really instilled that appreciation for me. 2022 is Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks. I think that it is one of overall the entire working of Twin Peaks is probably Lynch's best achievement for me. I think that it is a remarkable piece of work. I think that it's great. Next one is 25, 24, 23, 20. 21 is Letterkenny. Another one of those so many laughs per minute that I can't help but appreciate it. I think that it's one of the best written shows. And just a full cast of all unknowns, except for a couple random guest stars throughout their entire run. And it's great. 20, the most awkward comedy ever made, I think. Nathan For You. That show is hilarious. Absolutely one of the best things out there. And I always love the shows that go out there and do something real, and not like reality TV, but something like Jackass, basically.
Yeah.
And Nathan For You kills that. Number 19 for me is Freaks and Geeks. Only one season, but literally one of the best shows of all time. That's not much needs to be said.
That's what we should have called this show, Freaks and Geeks.
Number 18 is another potentially controversial pick. HBO's Girls from Lena Dunham. I think that the entire road,
God.
the entire run, if you watch the entire thing, is actually pretty damn good.
Lena Dunham.
I agree fully. She is a terrible person.
Yep.
However, the art that she was a part of creating is genuinely really good.
Adam
Driver. Gave us Adam Driver.
It did give us Adam Driver.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. My next one, number whatever. The Muppet Show. Only ran for 5 seasons, but literally one of the best things of all time. Another one that only ran for a few seasons. Next one is Monty Python's Flying Circus. I think that comedy would not be where it is without that. Monty Python, brilliant. Next one is Mad Men. I adored Mad Men, even though I think that it could have been a hell of a lot better. It had some massive potential, and I think that a couple of the seasons were a little light. Next one is another potentially controversial pick, but primarily because it's been running for like 45 years. Saturday Night Live. I think that it's impossible to have an episode like this and not talk about literally a comedic institution that has lasted generations. Only 2 left, I promise. Going back to the British side, Fawlty Towers. I think John Cleese, again, I just mentioned Monty Python, but Fawlty Towers is brilliant. It is full-on slapstick comedy in the best of ways. And then finally, I didn't really want to have this in the top 10 because it's still ongoing and it could really jump the shark. We already talked about how good he is. I love Atlanta. I think Donald Glover is literally one of like the top 3 most talented people on our planet right now. And Atlanta is brilliantly made. There are steps that they take in that show that are incredibly stupid to do on other shows, and they work so perfectly on the show. I mean, there's an episode where a guy has a fucking alligator in his house out of nowhere. They have an episode with an invisible car that exists, and it makes sense. Like the things that happen on that show are just so perfectly timed. I love Atlanta. They have 2 seasons left, and then it's over. They've already filmed both of them, so I genuinely hope that it ends up with a legacy like it deserves, because it is great.
You guys hear the dog?
I will shut up now. I'm sorry.
She's biting my wife.
Oh, I thought you were kicking something.
No, it's just my dog growling at my wife.
As far as
women violence.
As far as Saturday Night Live goes, I think it's hard, man. There's some that are so good. Like nearly every skit is like recent wise. I'm talking about in the last 5 years. There's some that are so good. Every skit is almost a banger. And then there's some where like fucking just falls flat. So
I agree.
It's hard. It's hard to get on board with some of the episodes, but like there's some that are like just amazing. I can't remember. I think it was Chadwick Boseman. I thought that his episode was really, really solid. I think the Black Jeopardy episodes are always like good. But I as far as just an overall though, I think Saturday Night Live is really good. It's super solid.
It's impossible to ignore.
Kanye goes on. But I feel like it's a weird era of Saturday Night Live because I don't think they're consistently funny anymore. I think they have funny moments still, but there's like no true stars.
Point of order. They've never truly been consistently funny for every single skit. The stuff that you're looking back on with nostalgia is because it hit you at that perfect time of life. Saturday Night Live always had a handful of episodes in the season that were incredible, a handful of episodes that were good, and then a handful that were just truly bottom of the barrel trash. And the things that this is one reason why like 2006 was the perfect year for Saturday Night Live. Not because of the cast, because we were getting those best of DVDs released for every single person that had been on Saturday Night Live, and they were amazing because it curated everything that you wanted for that person. And it made it appear as if this person had this huge, massive influence. And yeah, some of them did, like Will Ferrell. And he was, just magnetic in everything he did. But even then, he had things that completely crashed and burned. So it's important to understand that it's been that way the entire run. But the fact that they've been on for, I think we're going on 45, 46 years, something like that.
Yeah.
It might even be 47 now, is astonishing. It is crazy that has been a part of our life for almost 50 years.
And I don't know where you lie on this, but I think that one of the only solid things that Saturday Night Live has going for it recently is the Please Don't Destroy segments that they have with the three guys. I think I look forward to their little bits, like 2-minute, 3-minute bits or whatever they are.
Yep.
But I think those are one of the saving graces of like even a shitty episode are their bits.
And I think that you mentioned something that is a problem, is that they don't have any massive stars. Like Kate McKinnon is probably the closest thing right now to breaking out fully.
Pete Davidson.
Oh, Pete Davidson owes his entire life to that show.
Yeah,
you have Kim Kardashian on for one episode, and then fuck, man.
He's a guy. He's a dude.
There was a meme I saw the other day. It was a picture of Pete Davidson walking out of a building, and it said, "Pete Davidson just walked outside. Hide your hose." It was fucking wild.
He was great in King of New York.
Yeah, I actually like King of New York.
Pete Davidson is genuinely really good in everything he does.
Yeah.
You notice now he gets to cherry pick his skits now, isn't he? Right? Is he one of the writers now on the show?
He stole the show for the first part of Suicide Squad. He was, the Judd Apatow film that he was in. What is that?
The King of New York.
That was the King of New York. Okay, I was confusing that with something else. No, that's not the name, isn't it? Isn't the King of New York?
Oh no, the King of Staten Island.
That's it, King of Staten Island. Oh. God damn it!
I think of Christopher Walken.
Come on, Flip.
One of the.
Sorry, greatest... Ryan. I didn't mean to upset you so much.
One of the great skits
I agree. Bill Hader is incredible.
Oh yeah. Bill Hader gone. That he was a highlight.
Oh, I thought you meant Bill Hader died, and I was like, wait, what? What the fuck? I was like, Jesus Christ, what did I miss?
Yeah, Bill Hader is the king of impressions, man. On Saturday Night Live.
He's great.
Yeah.
So is that the show?
I think that's the show. That was a lot.
Chris, it was nice talking to you. Is that an element, or is that a billable? What is that hat?
Oh, Volcom. Yeah, it's just
Volcom.
Just,
Do you skate?
No, it's literally a hat I wear for work.
What do you do for work?
I work at a maintenance yard at a school district, local school district.
Cool.
Yeah. Something small.
As my kid would say, I make a pizza. That's what I do.
There you go.
Sorry. I was gonna say I told her, I said Nonna, which is grandmother, so my mom. I said Nonna speaks 2 languages. She's like, what? She speaks English and Italian. She goes, that makes sense. And I go, why? Is there times you don't understand her? And she's like, yeah. And I go, what does Nonna sound like when she speaks Italian? And she goes, oh, baba da boopy mozzarella. She's 3.
Oh, wow.
That's after she was practicing her kung fu moves.
Yeah. Dude, she's obsessed with kung fu moves.
Oh, wow.
She's obsessed with planets right now. Like, she can tell you every planet's moon. We watch the sounds that they make. It's not awesome. It's annoying. I'm so tired of what IO sounds like.
Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Chris, we are stoked to have you. You can come back anytime by all means, hopefully, as long as Flip agrees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Of course.
Everybody, thanks again.
Had a great time, man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks again for watching. Next week we'll be here. Same old channel, same old
What are we
time.
doing next week?
We don't ever talk about this on air. We're good.
I have to ask you every week, though. It is tradition.
That's true. I can't really argue with that, sadly. I appreciate everybody. One last thing I wanted to say, because a lot of people that are watching used to come from my channel and Flip's channel. One thing I will say, Friday is going to be a big day on my channel. Please go out and watch the video that I'm posting. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Ryan and I are premiering our sex tape.
And we're getting married live. Have a good night, everybody.